15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
All right, we get another stunner. One of the crown jewel franchises in North America is for sale. The Lakers going up for $10 billion. And Jeannie Buss and her family are cashing out, although in this new world of sports ownership, you actually get to control the team for a couple of years while the transition happens. I still don't understand what that's about. But anyway.
She's what, governor?
Yeah.
Governor. It's a good British accent word.
Hello, governor.
I double dare you to do that if you met her.
Hello, Governor. Jeannie Buss.
That's a way to get on her good side. No, I mean, were you surprised yesterday? And what do you think the implications are for Luka and LeBron, the immediate future for the Lakers?
Oh, well, I mean, are we going to do it? Should we just jump right in?
Yes.
I mean, it seems like if you are an NBA conspiracy theorist like many, that the Mavericks gifted Luka to the Lakers to up the value, and then the NBA gave the Mavericks the number one pick. I mean, boom, done. Let's move. Is there any other?
Who runs
that's
the
league? It's the only other plausible explanation for how this went down. Of course, and there's foreign money from the Middle East that is involved in it. Yeah, bing, bam, boom. Cooper Flag's a Maverick. Lakers have Luka. Let's play ball.
Ted, do you think they could have gotten $10 billion without Luka, or you think Luka put it up like another $500 million or something?
I don't know. I mean, Maggie, I can't believe I'm beating you to this theory. If you believe in a stupid frozen envelope for Patrick Ewing, why would you not gift Luka Doncic to the Lakers? And yeah, I do think because if you don't have Luka at the Lakers, then really what do you have? An aging team that looks like they're headed towards 3 years of the lottery because LeBron's going to be done. What do they have besides LeBron? You're going to throw out Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves for an NBA team? No.
Okay, but Pearl, this is why you're new to the conspiracy theory game. And this is where I think you have a little to learn from people who have been solidly on this rabbit hole and down this path for years and years. Mark Cuban doesn't own the Mavericks anymore.
Right.
He cashed out already. So why would the new owners want to help Jeannie Buss? Like, we know Jeannie and Mark Cuban and Wick Grossbeck, who might not be a household name, but he was the guy who owned the Celtics forever. His dad owned the Celtics, and they just sold. So it's a good theory. I love this theory.
Because all the owners want the highest possible valuation for every single sale. That's important.
Right, but the Mavs just sold. Like, they just did the changeover. This would have helped if it was a year ago.
Yeah, but how do you think something involved in that deal led to this deal? And the Saudi money is somewhere behind all of it.
Well, that I believe.
But I do think one thing, the $10 billion, I'm half joking. I'd say 90% joking. I can't believe you didn't jump on this. But I do think this $10 billion sale was a massive victory for every team in the NBA, every team in pro sports, because it's $10 billion and they don't get Crypto.com arena. Is it called Crypto.com?
Whatever.
Manny, you know the name of every stadium. They don't get the arena. So that's a massive number. Of course, it's the crown jewel franchise. I'm not surprised it went for much more than the Celtics, but this is a big win for the NBA and really sets them up to expand as well. So it does feel like a league victory, which is why it's so prone to conspiracy theories.
Right. No, it's juicy. I mean, there's a report out there from The Athletic that the valuation might actually go up to $12 billion, which would double the Celtics. I mean, this just happened. The Celtics just got sold less than a year ago. So I guess it is a windfall for the league, but I actually don't think anyone can really take anything from this Lakers sale. This is, there are three teams in North America. It's the Lakers, it's the Yankees, and it's the Dallas Cowboys, in my opinion, that would even swim in these waters. I don't know what else. Like, we just saw the Denver Broncos, great history with the Broncos, didn't get anywhere close to this.
I think Cowboys would double.
Cowboys, we might not even have any clue what the Cowboys could do.
They're very clear they're never going to sell.
Well, I mean, I know that Jeannie Buss was not clear about that. And in fact, people around her said, hey, apparently she says things like, I'm not going to do this forever. And she had kind of laid some breadcrumbs. You mentioned Mark Walter, the guy who's from Guggenheim, who they own the Dodgers. He's going to be the front man now, eventually, when this changeover happens. But he's like the guy. I think he already owned 20+%, had the right of first refusal. This is not shocking. The Cowboys would be shocking. The Yankees, I think, to a lesser extent, would be shocking. But
the Yankees feel a little more like the Lakers.
Yes,
like the Lakers.
family.
So when Dr. Jerry Buss passed, we know from all the shows that there was friction between Jeannie and her brothers.
of course.
And I know from watching the Kate Hudson show, which is based on Jeannie Buss's life on Netflix. What's it called? It's hysterical, by the way. There's a sitcom based on Jeannie Buss's life, and the brothers and her have a total messy situation. You follow the Yankees closer. It does feel like George to Hal and everything has been a little bit tricky. Whereas I don't think there's going to be any tricks with Jerry to Steven. Like you need a solid family succession plan. And now that they sold, I don't think that was in place for the Lakers.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Like there was no one else to take the torch. Who, Jay Moore? I mean, that would have been fun for us as Jeannie Buss's husband, who's a comedian and actor who we love, could have taken over the team.
Or Linda Rambis. Those were the two options.
Linda and Kurt might be out. I was thinking about that. The people, the winners and losers of this sale of the Lakers yesterday that was announced, $10 billion is the valuation. Rob Pelinka, a big loser. Mm-hmm. That's not. I don't know about JJ Redick could be a big loser, and the Rambises definitely a big loser.
I actually heard somewhere they just re-signed Pelinka. Double check that. Maybe I have the wrong person. They just re-signed Pelinka, and he's a big part of this. He might be a winner. We got to double check that.
See, from everything I've heard about the Lakers and now been reading, and this is something that we all knew in sports, which is nobody is ever going to sit here and accuse Jeannie Buss or the Lakers of being cheap. That would never happen. But there are ways in which the Lakers were run more like a mom and pop shop and a family business than they were, a hedge fund would run something, or Guggenheim Partners, whatever these huge conglomerates. And so that's not, they never cheaped out on LeBron James or Anthony Davis or any of these, Kobe or anyone like that, the player salaries. But the analytics department, the scouting department, all the ancillary things that don't count against your cap that help make you a great team, the Lakers were like a little pared down, let's say. Everyone is saying now that's going to change. The Dodgers have a huge staff. The Dodgers just pump that team. This ownership group pumps the Dodgers full of cash, not just on spending on salaries, but everything else. And we always knew the Lakers were a little cheap when it comes to head coaches. So I think there's going to be more cooks in the kitchen, more voices. And Rob Pelinka, to me, outside of Luka falling from the sky, I don't even know what sturdy ground he was on before that.
But I don't understand, what NBA teams have such a limited number of moves they can make in the first place. Who cares? You can't buy an NBA title like you can a little more in baseball. The Steve Ballmer, who owns the Clippers, has more money than anyone.
Right.
He's building his own arena and has had no success. No meaningful success. I mean, unless you count whatever they make one Western Conference final, but I don't think there's anything you can do in basketball. You can't buy it. There's not enough players. Baseball, I think the Dodgers got a little lucky to get Shohei. Well,
and he took all that deferred money.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how the money can make the Lakers into anything special in the NBA. Because there are a lot of teams that could easily afford the players. Because the scouting department's going to be better. I mean, they drafted. We all liked the Dalton Connect pick last year. It didn't really work.
Yeah, they tried to trade him within 3 months.
But there's nothing wrong with the Lakers. Are just they're aging LeBron. I don't think any money is going to reverse LeBron's age. I don't see this group winning a championship anytime soon. There's no money that's going to change all this unless you could build around Luka. Unless you see a formula around Luka, they're just kind of thin right now.
By the way, Rob Pelinka did get an extension 2 months ago.
Okay, because someone came to him and said, "Do you want our best player?" Which is a funny thing.
I think it's sort of part of the, according to Brian Windhorst at ESPN, that's part of the process. When you sell a team, they want the
stability,
principles in place before they take it over.
Okay, so maybe the Rambises are safe. No, I kid, but I think that. I guess I'm going to disagree with you, not to get too in the weeds here, but I disagree that, upgrading scouting departments, upgrading analytics departments, ponying up for better head coaches, who's to say if they had just paid a little bit more for Danny Hurley, would the Lakers have been in a better position than JJ Redick? I actually thought JJ was fine this year. It seemed like he acclimated fine, but think about it, did they have to have Darvin Ham and some of these other kind of out of nowhere hires that you think may have been because they were being a little bit stingy on that? I think it all matters. I do. Now the NBA got really, really punitive with that second apron, and you can't. If your payroll's too high, you get really punished. But the other stuff, I think, definitely helps.
Who's playing in the finals tonight?
OKC in Indiana?
Yeah. Are you saying that OKC paid up for Mark Daigneault?
No, I think that but I think they have a better scouting and analytics department with Sam Presti. I bet they do.
Yeah, they happen to be. I don't think it's because they paid so much money for Sam, but they happen to be lucky to have Sam Presti. You look at, I just don't think you can buy a championship in the NBA. And really, it's 5 guys out there. How many people, what kind of team do you need to build? Yeah, you have LeBron and you win a bunch of rings. That's how the NBA works. I think it's one of the most overrated team-building sports there is. Because, listen, all the analytics of the world, we're not going to give you this Luka deal. And Luka's there, so you build around him. I'm not sure what you're saying, like this new influx of money, they're going to be the Dodgers all of a sudden.
Manny, let's put up on the poll. Will money help the Lakers, an influx of cash help the Lakers win a title here? I think with LeBron and Luka, right? The timing of this is very, meaningful, in my opinion, because you did get Luka. He did fall out of the sky. Maybe some conspiracy theory about it. I'm not writing you off completely there. I'll listen to anything.
Anything. That's the easiest one I've ever heard in my life.
And so... Okay, we can talk about that, but the timing of having Luka now, you're going to have to pay him, and how do you maximize the very end of LeBron James? This seems like this happened at this moment. Now, I had a different reason why it happened.
Oh, okay. What's your reason?
Well, I look at Jeannie Buss, and everyone knows that she is tight with Mark Cuban and Wyc Grousbeck, the Dallas Mavericks and Boston Celtics owners who have just sold in the last 2 years less.
That's
18 months.
News to me. I didn't even know. Hey, Jeannie Buss is good friends with Wyc Grousbeck?
Yeah.
People knew that?
Well, I think Celtics, Lakers, I just think there's probably a lot of, I can understand they're probably under a similar type of stress, right? It's like they have similar types of things that they deal with that OKC doesn't deal with, or that the Orlando Magic don't deal with, which is being the steward of these franchises, which means so much to the NBA. I think they have outsized influence in the NBA. And they've been in the game for a long time, going back to both of their fathers owning the team. So I would imagine there's a lot of similarities, a lot of same there. And I think it's interesting that her 2 biggest ownership confidants have both sold. I'm like, why is everyone jumping ship here on the NBA? Not everyone. Why are some family-run NBA teams suddenly cashing out right now? Is it because the number just got too high? Is it because they are forecasting maybe some storm clouds down the road? Yeah. That, to me, is where my eyebrow got raised.
Yeah, maybe it's a bubble. But that being said, if I had to point to one thing, it'd be foreign money coming into the league. Because I think of LIV. I know when LIV all started, Saudi Arabia and the other countries around there are into basketball too. I think one of the reasons that LIV is paying so much for these golfers is because a lot of the rich people in the Middle East are massive golf fans. I think they also like their NBA. So I think there's an influx of private equity coming into the league.
Yep.
And also, one of the reasons I think that is because the NFL, all of a sudden you're seeing all these weird headlines. The NFL is now accepting private equity. So I think it's all the money coming in from overseas. And if you're the Buss family, like $10 billion, I mean, hello.
Yeah, right. I mean,
I think it's too much for, as you said, a family-owned team to not say yes to that. That being said, I don't think that I do not think that it happens in the NFL. I think there's way too much glory to own an NFL team. It's priceless. What the Joneses have is absolutely priceless. There's nothing, that attention, that Frisco and all that. There's no price tag on the Cowboys, for example. The Lakers, maybe a little less so.
But did you think that 48 hours ago?
No, but I never thought about it one way or the other. I had no idea that Mark Walter bought 25% of the team a couple years ago. I didn't know any of that was going on. No,
because everything seems unbelievable until it happens, right? I didn't think the Lakers were selling either. Apparently, other people knew that it was a little more possible. But I never say never on this stuff. I wouldn't be shocked if the Yankees sold. I wouldn't be shocked if the Cowboys sold. And the numbers are getting so big. But
the NFL is so much more. The NFL's hot right now. Why would you turn away? You are the biggest stars in the country. The NBA is not hot, in my opinion. I know they signed this big $1 billion deal, but it seems like they're just it's so funny because Mark Cuban once said the NFL is getting greedy and they're the pigs, when obviously it's the NBA. The NBA is we're going to sell to 800 different networks and you're going to have to go on to your phone to watch Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. They're as greedy as possible. They've splintered the entire league into all sorts of weird network deals and taken all the money possible, where the NFL is just you don't think owning an NFL team, you're a superstar right now. I would not. I think it's a different game right now. I think the NBA is kind of cold and the NFL is kind of hot. So the Joneses, to me, and I watch them sell next week.
Yeah, right.
They will not sell, especially when Jerry's alive. Jerry will never sell.
Right.
And I think Steven is ready to go right in there. Steven's pretty famous too.
Yeah. So I think two things about this. One, Mark Cuban once said, the quote you had was right, he said, fat hogs get slaughtered. And he was talking about the NFL. And he said this like maybe 12, 13 years ago.
Right as the league just took off like a phoenix.
Manny needs his bacon.
Honestly, dead wrong. Mark Cuban, he rode the tech bubble in the 2000s to chef's kiss perfection.
He had one
this
deal.
one was dead wrong.
He had one lucky deal, and he happened to be there at the exact right time because he tape recorded a basketball game.
However he got there, he's on Shark Tank and
He
we're
made
not.
one deal. Anyway, so
One
Mark
more than
Cuban
we
was
made.
dead wrong about that.
So he said fat hogs get slaughtered. And you want to know what happened? The NFL turned around and was like, oh, you like Christmas? We're taking that. Oh, you wanted to be this? We're taking that. And they basically took everything, and now they're the biggest league, obviously, that we have.
And the NBA's greedy?
I think the NFL is super greedy too. I think the other most likely to sell, you got to think about this, right? Who are the family-owned operations? So I think the Joneses are on the table. I think Manny's Yankees are on the table. And I'll give you two more. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers would be on the table, and I think the New York Giants are on the table. And I know that the Giants don't mean as much outside of New York, especially lately because they've been so bad, but the Pittsburgh Steelers certainly do. That would resonate, I think, not like the Lakers, but to a certain degree. These are other huge franchises in North American sports.
That's so funny. I can't picture the Rooney family not owning the Steelers. It's kind of like, I guess I couldn't picture the Busses, but the Rooneys kind of secretly run the league. It seems weird. I mean, that'd be unusual.
Who's the successor, though? It's like we don't even have the Stephen Jones.
I have no idea. Is there not a middle-aged Rooney
As far
to
as
take over the team?
The actress.
Rooney Mara, she's the Giants.
Oh, right.
Close.
So,
Think
yeah,
she's
I
a
don't know.
niece. Yeah.
I mean, there's always another Rooney. I mean, the team
They
that
might
should
be
sell,
running out,
the
man.
team that should sell is very clearly. I mean, there's one family-owned team that everyone on earth would want to sell. That's Mike Brown and the Bengals. But if that guy's not selling, why would the Rooneys sell?
How about Wayne Rooney? Wayne Rooney available?
Does he own a team? 888-710-4ISN.
actually.
He made a lot of money with the hair replacement commercials.
Oh, well, yeah, he does.
Was he the first guy to go to Turkey to get that done?
He's the first guy who really profited off. Didn't he make that
I think
an
Brian
industry?
Urlacher, too.
I think Rooney
yeah.
was before him. But yeah, Rooney was, by the way, as not a soccer, that guy was fun to watch. Man.
Yeah, he was electrifying.
Bulldog.
Oh,
Anyway, but he does not own
Who's
the
the
Steelers.
most famous hair plugs in sports?
Joe Buck.
He's
Wow.
very open about it.
Yeah,
That
he is. I read
sucks.
his book about it. He's very open about
Yeah,
it.
that
He
was not
live
fun.
streams from, I've seen him, videos of him on social media where he himself is recording it while he's doing the hair transplant.
Sounds absolutely painful.
He said it almost ruined his vocal cords, weirdly.
Yeah, I don't
It
understand.
was
how
like
that
an
works.
infection. Kind
Yeah.
of. Oh, terrible.
Ugh.
But again, Wayne Rooney, nothing to do with the Steelers.
No,
really?
the Rooney family. I mean, I'm curious to know if you out there, first of all, 888-710-4ISN, is this a great day for the Lakers? Because I'm seeing a lot of that. Hey, this is good. They're no longer going to be run like a mom and pop, like a family business, and that's a good thing. I mean, you have the proof of concept with the Dodgers, but it's a totally different financial structure in baseball than it is in basketball. So,
But the thing is, we're right in the middle of hot stove for NBA. All these moves are getting made, like superstars on the trade market. I'm hearing zero buzz about the Lakers. Like the West is gearing up to fight the Thunder next year. And have you heard anybody mention as a potential Laker?
no.
They're throwing out, I mean, they're coming at you like this rich team owns Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, Bronny James combo. I mean,
Well, unless you want to go pie in the sky Giannis, but it doesn't look like that's ever going
I
to
have
happen.
not
And I don't know
heard-
how they would have made that happen.
I have not even heard the slightest Giannis chatter for Lakers. I mean, listen, it is, you've always said superstars fall into the Lakers' lap. It has nothing to do with the money. I don't see this changing anything in the NBA. If it was maybe another sport, but I'm not buying Lakers stock.
Who is the next big franchise to sell?
Are we limiting this to just family-owned teams? Because I have a local basketball team to the New York area that might sell for about $6-7 billion.
You think Dolan's going to sell?
No, but I mean, if you
Oh,
want,
that's a never.
if you want to talk about teams that would sell for
No, it'd be right there.
Absurd amounts of money. It would be the Knicks.
Well, especially if he also wants to sell Madison Square Garden.
Exactly, and the Channel, and the Sphere, and the
I
Forum.
would put that as a never.
He will-
If Jim Dolan sells, then I'm
Hell
wrong
has
about
frozen.
everything.
Hell has frozen over.
Yeah, well,
I'm
for sure.
wrong about everything.
So you guys are miscalculating one thing, and because of my long history with James Dolan, which is very checkered, I know a lot about this guy and a little window into his psyche. He will not sell Madison Square Garden or the Sphere or any of that stuff because then he can no longer play Madison Square Garden. He has a band where he allows himself to open for such, bigger acts
And
like
what
the
instrument-
Eagles and
what-
stuff like that.
What instrument does he play?
He plays the kazoo.
Yeah,
guys.
he does. That's my owner.
You need a good kazoo player. I've always said that.
Yeah.
And so he can't sell these venues,
plays
Pearl,
the
or else
kazoo or the harmonica? He plays actual kazoo, like
He
the little
plays
plastic
kazoo.
kazoo.
Yeah, I mean, he plays a little harmonica also, but he
so does Billy Joel, yeah.
excels at the kazoo.
Yeah, great kazoo player.
I've never seen a band play a kazoo.
Well, clearly haven't seen JD in the straight shot.
Boom.
Can you do different notes on a kazoo?
What do we know more about, playing the kazoo or hair transplants?
But I think like Dolan, what? Why would he even wake up in the morning if he didn't get to go out in public and own all this stuff?
Yeah, well, no one ever says it to his face. 888-710-4ISN.
Except Maggie Gray.
888-710-4476.
That's why she's not allowed at Rangers and Knicks games.
You got it. Or the Rockettes or anything.
Radio
okay.
City, something else he would have to sell. I digress. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So the Lakers, is this a good thing to be selling now to the owners of the Dodgers? And are you expecting a big offseason because of this? And two, who's the next big franchise to sell? I think it's going to be the New York Giants.
Oh.
Yeah. 888-710-4ISN. It is the Maggie and Perloff Show. We got so much to do, including an update on Tyrese Haliburton's sore calf. What does it mean for Game 6 tonight? Got that for you next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining.
Maggie's rolling down the highway, feeling kinda rough. Last night's dinner, fighting back, oh man, it's getting tough. She grips her wheel, but it's too late, oh no, here it comes. Her Yeti Angel's holding water, now it's holding chunks. Oh, Maggie's puking in her car. Yeti bottle's gone too far.
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie Perloff Show. We're talking about the Lakers selling for $10 billion. Maggie, actually, I'm looking through the list of owners in the NFL, and it's almost all family-owned. There's no real corporate-owned teams, unless you count. So it's all individuals who bought teams, technically, although they have corporations behind them, like David Tepper. But it's what a bunch of loons. I'm looking at this list. I can't believe, like, the people who still own teams. I'm like, oh, my God, I forgot about that guy, that guy, that guy. I think, personally, it's my dream to own a pro sports team. I think Shad Khan does it the best because he has a super sick yacht and a sports team and a soccer team and a pro wrestling league. Like, I want it all. And I can't believe, if I'm Jeannie Buss, I know $10 billion is a lot of money. Wouldn't do it. Where are you going to spend $1 billion? She's in her 60s.
I know, but you just said you're a yacht guy. So what kind of yacht could you buy?
The NFL owners all have this competition among themselves. Who can have the nicest yacht? In the NFL, you not only have the team, you make a lot of income off the team. None of them are wanting for money, so do both. I'm not sure why Jeannie wants this money.
Well, some people need yachts for different reasons. Like Daniel Snyder, the former owner of the Washington Commanders, needed it to stay in international waters so he could avoid lawsuits. Like, everyone needs their yachts for different purposes.
But that's true. But Snyder and Jones had this famous yacht war. They were trying to one-up each other's yachts because they're like, well, the football field, we're not really going to win there. Let's go into the open water. But
and suddenly yacht is euphemism for something else.
I hate being poor.
You want Yacht Wars?
Yes.
How is that not a show?
Yacht Wars?
Yeah.
Oh, man, we got to pitch
We got Below Deck. We got all
pitch
those.
something to TLC right now.
Yeah. Bravo.
I mean, oh, my
Bogusch
God.
would watch.
We could buy
I'm already watching in my head right now.
we could buy a team for $10 billion maybe after we hit it big.
We were in the Super Bowl this year at New Orleans, and the one thing, all the media was housed right next to Shad Khan's yacht, and everyone got to look inside. It's insane. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life.
So did Jameis Winston.
Something, I'm glad you mentioned New Orleans, because I do want to get to our pal Big Easy, who's on the line, who's got a good guess for who could be the next big sports owner to sell. Good morning, Big Easy. How you doing?
Good morning, Maggie Perloff, and to everybody that makes this show great. I just want to pass it along. Miss Gail Benson, which she got the team, both teams, the Pelicans and the Saints, through the death of her husband, Tom. And there's nobody can afford both of those teams, because here's the thing, the Time in his will said that it stated that both teams, both Pelicans and the Saints, have to be bought together, and they have to stay here in Harrington City. It's stipulated in the paperwork.
Interesting.
And there's only one. I guess you could say franchise that can afford this. I didn't know if y'all noticed that when y'all came here, that the Caesar Corporation took over at the former Harris Corporation.
No, we noticed we were staying right next to it, and they own the Superdome.
Yes, and that will be the next owner because Miss Benson is getting up in age, way up in age, and she's already said, she's going to sell the team before she passes away. So this is inevitable. This is going to happen.
Yeah,
but it's a matter of when. And
I don't know if they're going to get anywhere close to $10 billion though, Big Easy. And that's not a slight. I mean, I don't think anyone outside of the Yankees, the Lakers, and the Dallas Cowboys, I don't think are getting that much. But I bet they'll sell for a lot. I bet it's like 5 or 6.
Well, the Saints will worth around 4, and other teams worth about 2. So you figure out, you're right, about $6 billion, $7 billion. And,
if you have it laying around,
I think more.
You do?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think because the prices go up every year.
Big Easy, thank you for that, sir.
Oh, you'll definitely get more from. I don't know. I'm not sure because I wasn't following exactly what stadium you own, but it never goes down. I think you're going to go up. $4 million seems cheap because people want to get into the NFL so bad, especially now that you got the foreign money. The league is way more open to that now. By the way, and here's the thing: the Pelicans are a disaster, right?
I was going to say, should we move them? Are you sure you wanted that in the stipulation?
Well,
no offense, New Orleans, but maybe we should get them up on out of there.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, it feels like Zion's diet took the entire franchise down. I didn't understand
$1 billion worth of beignets.
They fired David Griffin, right?
Yep.
Recently, like that seems like the one competent guy associated with that team. So I don't know what's going on there. And the Saints are a disaster too. I think you're buying low. But when you buy a team, I'm curious because you seem much more interested in owners than me.
Well, yeah.
Are you actually watching? Are you looking at the roster and being like, well, they have the stadium rights, but I feel like their power forward doesn't have a 3-point shot. Like, are you actually
take
looking
them off
at
$375 billion?
Did the Guggenheim Group say, well, you know what? Austin Reeves just is not a two-way defender. We need more of a 3-and-D guy. So let's take $1 million off the price. Like, I'm just curious, like, how good does a team being good at this moment matter? This should be a long-term purchase.
Yeah, probably for the NFL, no. But I think, like, the Tampa Bay Rays are selling now. And they have a stadium issue. And they are, I guess, technically a small market. And I understand that. So the valuation would come down.
That's been going on forever. Right, but... you said the Lakers, like, are you really looking at this current window with LeBron and being like, I'm going to buy the team because LeBron's there or because Luka's there?
No, I think the Lakers would have been the Lakers if Smush Parker was still there. Sorry, no offense to your guy, Bogusch. But I think that it's about. I think with the NFL, no. I think with the NBA, it is maybe a little bit more about market size and history and what's your pull. Like I would imagine the Pelicans are yet. Probably enticing, but not nearly as much as the Celtics or the Mavs were.
Well, it's funny if the Pelicans were great right now, would that up the price?
Maybe.
Isn't that so weird?
Like if Drew Brees was still playing for the New Orleans Saints, do you think it'd go up more?
Yeah.
What I'm just asking about for the Lakers right now with their sale is this new ownership group, which we all believe is just going to bring an influx of cash, right? And thoughts and new ideas and new departments and analytics and all that. Is that going to take hold quickly enough to maximize LeBron James and Luka together?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if the history of the NBA, I don't know. I'm not as convinced that you can be smarter than everyone and build a champion all the time. Yeah, the Warriors did it, but the Nuggets got Jokic, and was that so brilliant? They didn't draft him they drafted him in the second round, right? So they passed on him once. It's kind of like the Patriots getting Tom Brady. There is a matter of luck in basketball. If you just happen to get the best player in the league, you're most likely going to win titles. Like, what was the Cavs' brilliant move to build a contender?
Rigging the lottery.
Draft LeBron James.
yeah. What was the
and yet you still don't believe.
What was the analytics that the Spurs used to get Tim Duncan? David Robinson got injured and they were bad. I'm not sure that this influx of money and these new departments that you're talking about is going to turn around the Lakers. Because why would the Clippers be great then?
Give the Clippers a minute.
I mean, are they headed? Is there a future?
Everyone loves the stadium. They think that really is a big deal. We'll see. I mean, they have to stop giving all this money to old injured guys.
Yeah, I was about to say, their cap's tied up for the next 6 years, and James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and now they want Durant possibly. I don't see it happening. I just don't think you can buy a championship in the NBA.
Let's get to Bogusch. He's got headlines for us. Sorry for the Smirch Parker dig.
It's fine. Headlines are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Insurance for motorcycles, boats, and RVs for protection on the road and on the water. See how much you can save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. Perloff said it the other day, doesn't matter what time of day, weekday, weekend, there's always something crazy going on at the Men's College World Series. Last night, Arkansas had to win to stay alive. They took a 5-3 lead on LSU into the bottom of the ninth and lost.
Bottom of the ninth, tie game. This one hit in the air, line drive. It's off the glove of Kojal into center field. Here comes Hernandez. He is safe. Tigers win. Tigers win. They are headed to the championship series here in Omaha.
That's Chris Blair on the LSU Sports Radio Network. The Tigers a 6-5 thievery to advance to the best-of-3 finale with Coastal Carolina. That begins on Saturday. As for Arkansas, the Razorbacks had 2 chances to win this game before losing it. They could have tried a game-ending 6-4-3 double play, but their shortstop threw to third instead for a simple force out. Then their left fielder stumbled trying to catch a line drive for the last out. The ball ricocheted off his shoulder into the corner, allowing the 2 tying runs to score. And then I guess we can get the second baseman getting half his glove on this line drive. That was the game-ending hit.
I feel so bad for these guys because so many of them are not going to go on to play again. Like the Mets are terrible in the field. Watched them last night just be awful, but they get to play again today. You get a second chance when this stuff happens, especially to college kids or high school kids, and it might be their last game, and now you just have to think about that forever.
Oof.
I feel for them.
Can you play overseas in baseball? Is there any?
No.
Wait for Saudi Arabia to get the
No G League.
There's no Italy League for baseball?
No.
World Baseball Classic, maybe?
Yeah, where do aren't there some other World Baseball Classic teams? There's got to be some other pro leagues.
I mean, you got a league. Yeah, there's
Mexican league.
There's the Mexican League. There's the
Yeah,
Caribbean.
Kenny Powers went down to Mexico and eastbound
Jake
and down.
Taylor.
A bunch of Caribbean leagues as well. You can go to Korea, Japan. Japan is a little bit more difficult because that's the second best league that there is probably in the world. But I mean, Korea's available.
That's hard too.
There's also a league in the Middle
Korea's
East.
awesome.
There is a league in the Middle East. Get out of here.
The Legends League, if I'm not mistaken.
But
You're
I don't.
making
But I
that up.
don't
All
think.
right, okay, let's not believe Manny for another.
I know. Actually, this is dangerous. I shouldn't believe you.
But it's not like college basketball where guys who are good end up playing in Finland or Turkey or like you're done in college baseball if you're not playing for the most part minor league baseball.
Well, you could play minor league baseball like for the rest of your life. You know.
Yeah, but somebody's got to sign you first.
Fair.
But no, that is a sad situation you just described, Maggie. But that being said, I mean, there's one takeaway from this whole thing to me. SEC, are they down because Coastal Carolina seemed to get there?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
wait for the death threats to come in. You're going to go
There were
after
16
the SEC.
teams in the World Series and 13 were from the SEC or something, right? Wasn't that what?
At the beginning, I think 13 of the 64 to start were from the SEC.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
I'm disappointed the SEC it's not an all SEC final.
All
Kind
right.
of weak.
AI overview. Someone's going to throw a baseball at your head. AI overview. First professional baseball league in the Middle East and South Asia is called Baseball United. It's a professional league focused on the Middle East and the Indian subcontinent. The inaugural season will feature teams from India, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE, scheduled to begin November 2025.
Is there any information on which players are taking part in this league? Because literally players like Bartolo Colon and Robinson Cano, dudes who are 40 plus years old, are playing in the Baseball United.
No, I think you have to do that, right? You bring in the old geezers, and they, like, at least they have name recognition, don't you?
Big Sexy, come on now. How can you,
He can start a secret family in Dubai.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, what more star power do you want than Bartolo Colon? Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge? Psh, you got Bartolo, man.
He is a bigger star. I will give you that.
Oh, that's a thick man.
Yeah, wider, really. Yes, folks.
Let's do some pro baseball now in the majors.
We just did. We just had the Baseball United.
Okay, moving on. Tyrese Haliburton confirmed yesterday that he's dealing with a right calf strain. He says he'll do whatever is necessary to be with his teammates tonight when they try to extend their season in Game 6 of the finals with the Thunder. Head coach Rick Carlisle asking for your patience.
It's a topic that people want to hear about and know about, and there's going to be a lot of questions about it. But we will not really know for sure until late tomorrow afternoon or early evening.
Game 6 in Indy tipping shortly after 8:30 Eastern, and the WNBA is not suspending anyone for the multiple altercations during Tuesday's Fever-Sun game, but Sophie Cunningham and Marina Mabrey get fines for misbehaving. Cunningham tackled J.C. Sheldon, probably in retaliation for Sheldon roughing up Caitlin Clark earlier in the game. Mabrey knocked down Clark during that scrum. The foul now upgraded to a flagrant 2 plus that fine. Guys, back to you.
Bogusch, thanks. You mentioned Tyrese Haliburton. We'll get to more on his calf, and really this is an impossible situation for Rick Carlisle. We'll tell you about that next. 888-710-4ISN. It's Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Maggie's rolling down the highway, feeling kinda rough. Last night's dinner, fighting back, oh man, it's getting tough. She grips her wheel, but it's too late, oh no, here it comes. Her Yeti Angel's holding water, now it's holding chunks. Oh, Maggie's puking in her car. Yeti bottle's gone too far. Her toothbrush ain't gonna make it through. Perloff's calling hazmat, man, it's true. She stumbles into the studio, trying to play it cool. Perloff takes one whiff and screams, this ain't in my job rules. He's climbing on the desk, he's spraying Lysol in the air. Says I need a full decontamination, get me out of here. Oh, Maggie's puking in her car. Yeti bottles, a biohazard scar. Toothbrush soaked in bleach all night. Perloff's in a hazmat suit and fright. Eladio, he still ain't here. Probably at home, drinking a beer. WM's in a toxic state, but he's still on vacation, must be fate. Well, drunk as Sam stumbled into work at night, smelling like a whiskey, cheap boxed wine. Tried to flirt with Lisa from accounting again, but HR warned him, that's strike number 10. Oh Sam, you gotta read the room. You ain't Casanova, you're just full of booze. Where the hell is Peter Blight? Did he call in sick or win the damn lottery? Nobody's seen him since 2:15. Was it a long night or a rendezvous? Oh, Bellotti, did you ghost us for good? Or are you just stuck in your neighborhood? Sam sent an email, slurred every word. Called the boss, baby man, that's absurd. Tried to high five, but he missed by a mile. Knocked over the coffee, still flashing a smile. Then he said, I may get too familiar too soon. I am told by HR to write him, yeah, that's getting old. Where the hell is Peter Blight? Was he trapped in traffic or hiding in the lobby?
One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie Perloff. Mount Olympus and Maggie Perloff continues today. The 4 sports gods from every great sports city in this country and parts of Canada. Today we go to Cincinnati. Hooray! No, this is a fun one. This was hard for me, but we'll get to that at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Meanwhile, you got a Game 6 tonight, which is going to be, of course, the Pacers trying to keep the series alive and OKC trying to close it out. I think that Rick Carlisle's in an impossible position here. Because Tyrese Haliburton's calf, Pearl, to me, it's a gray area. It's obviously not so bad that he literally can't walk onto the court, but yet it is hampering him to some degree. And the way that Haliburton has left his mark on these playoffs is this out of nowhere at times miracle shots, turning it on in the last, 5 minutes, 10 minutes of a game. How do you turn away from a guy who has been so amazing, productive, and kept you afloat when this injury, to me, is not so cut and dry, like, oh, play him, don't play him?
Yeah, it's a tricky situation. One thing I will tell you, last game, TJ McConnell came in and dominated, right? His backup. That ain't happening in this game because I think the Thunder were probably embarrassed by what TJ McConnell did, and they're going to make a defensive adjustment. So I don't think you can look at this game and say, well, McConnell's going to be more effective because they will hunt him on defense like crazy. Watch them totally adjust to McConnell. So I think Haliburton, even a 70% Haliburton might be the best option they have. So if he can defend at any level and play make, you're going to keep him out there. The question is they need his scoring, right? And that's what you're going to miss. Can he get to the hoop? And I'm dubious, but I still would not play TJ McConnell 40 minutes.
Yeah, you make a great point on McConnell. The other point on McConnell is he's got two things. One, a lot of times he is playing against the backups, so it's not like he's getting the full attention of the starters who are so great defensively.
Yeah, good point.
And then the other part, too, is he himself, I actually saw this clip yesterday where he was doing an interview on a podcast, and he's like, how did I last 10 years in the league? I have to basically run myself to exhaustion every time I'm on the court because that's what I need to do in order to not get cooked on defense. And also just he's like, I've survived because I'm just playing harder than a lot of guys. I have to because he's not taller than a lot of guys and all that. That's good for backup minutes. You can't do that for starters minutes. You can't play yourself to exhaustion. So if you try to, at every moment, if you try to conserve your energy, you're going to get toasted. So this is a very tough situation, I think, for Rick Carlisle. And I agree with you. I think he's going to play Haliburton a lot. And and here's the other part. You can't be worried about the Achilles. I know that sounds crazy, but you're in Game 6 of the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yep.
You can't be worried the calf is attached to the Achilles, like the leg bone's connected to the knee bone. We can't do that right now, right? I don't think.
I don't know about that, but I mean, if it's really a potential Achilles tear, then I would kind of sit him because that's a bad one.
No, but Pearl, I mean, what do you mean kind of sit them? You're the Indiana Pacers, and you haven't been to the finals since the early 2000s. You have to go all out.
Not if you think there's a major risk that it'll explode his Achilles.
Well, major risk, do we know that?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think...
You're never going to get that answer from a team doctor before the game tonight.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it did seem like even before, obviously, I think in your head, you're going back to the 2019 NBA Finals when Kevin Durant had a calf injury, and the word Achilles was mentioned a lot with KD, and it was very, everyone was, I felt like we were all aware, oh man, his Achilles could go any minute. And then they got him back way too early. I haven't thought about that as much with Tyrese Haliburton because he was running around pretty good. I know he wasn't effective, but did he look that much slower in Game 5?
Well, to me, no. I mean, my eye, no,
Yeah,
but
I
he
didn't
wasn't
see it.
able to get to the hoop. And the other part, though, is like, yeah, KD was a little bit older and the Achilles did pop. And so that did happen. And they end up losing the finals. But they also had, finals in the bag. Like Kevin Durant joined a 73-win team. I don't want to say they had the luxury of that. This is not a Pacer team that has that. You're here. Rick Carlisle yesterday was talking about how they've been here before. They had to win a Game 7 last year in Madison Square Garden against the Knicks in the Eastern Conference semifinal, and then force a Game 7. Win a Game 6 at their place to force a Game 7. They have to do this right now. You can't just say, "Oh, we're worried about possibly, his Achilles in the future." At least I don't think you could do that.
Yeah, if you know the Achilles at risk, I would think more long-term because look at the Celtics. Jason Tatum blew his Achilles, and now they're basically like, well, let's just dismantle the whole team. Because the Pacers, the East is so weak next year, they could easily get back here. I'm not sure. Also, the other thing, too, about the Pacers, they do have this crazy bench. Like, maybe you give a full green light to Benedict Mathurin and say, you know what, Haliburton's hurt. We need 30 points from you. And in Indy, that's not unrealistic. Mathurin, to me, is very... There are other guys on the Pacers, like Nesmith could get hot. Like, if Haliburton's not going to score and the other guys, the role players know that, they have these moments in the playoffs, every one of them, where all of a sudden they get red hot. Maybe the Pacers can find other answers.
I have another question for you about the Pacers. So I don't know if the series is going to end tonight. I think it's going to, but we'll see because the Pacers have been surprising us at every second and every turn. And maybe Rick Carlisle has something up his sleeve. I heard Tim Legler talking yesterday. Maybe they should start playing some zone defense. Maybe that will help a little bit.
Yeah, during the regular season, I read that teams started doing a lot of zone against the Thunder, and it was a hard adjustment. I would totally do that. Make the Thunder shoot to beat you. Don't let them drive.
Well, they were living in the paint.
Yeah.
They've been dominating as far as rebounding. Those are the ways, and obviously the turnovers and scoring off turnovers, that they've been able to take this lead. But if, let's say, the series ends tonight, has Haliburton done enough, in your opinion, to be given superstar label?
No. I think he's probably the most
Don't
overrated
say it.
player in the NBA.
Oh,
No,
you're with the players on this one.
Yeah,
That was the player poll.
No, I mean, of course, Tyrese Haliburton is not a needle mover in the sense that, like, if I call superstars like Giannis and Luka and SGA, Tyrese Haliburton is not that level of player.
Okay, can I change the definition of superstar just slightly?
What?
Super. You have the
Superstar.
word. Keep in mind, you have the word super in there. But please go ahead.
So I forgot who said this. It was superstar. This might have been Doc Rivers. Did an interview with Bill Simmons lately. I think he's the one who said this. That a superstar is somebody you would pay money to go see. Like, that's the person you show up because you want to see them. Is Tyrese Haliburton now, with all of his heroics, he has not cracked that list?
No.
Manny is looking disgusted. Take your Knicks fandom out of it.
I gotta tell you.
Yes, I absolutely am. Come on. There's dudes like Luka Doncic and LeBron James I'd still rather pay to watch. Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson. Do you want me to keep going?
By the way, I don't think Jalen Brunson's a superstar either. No one's paying out of market to watch Jalen Brunson.
Okay, take JB out of it then.
Steph Curry.
You still got a
Yeah, so I tried to buy
laundry list of
Sixers
dudes, bro,
Warriors
before you
tickets
get
the
to
other day.
Tyrese.
Like, not the other day, last year.
Yeah.
And, like, you can't get into the building. It's, Steph Curry's in town. There's
SGA's in
nobody
town.
said, like, oh, let's save up to buy tickets to see Tyrese Haliburton. That sentence has never been uttered.
Nikola Jokic is in town.
Well, Jokic, he's a three-time MVP. Perloff just said SGA, though. Like, I don't think you think SGA is worth it.
But you just gave me a new definition of superstar.
Yeah,
Pay
under
to see.
this new definition.
Well, I guess if you're an MVP level player, then maybe you would pay to see.
Yeah, I want to go watch an MVP.
But, obviously, there are guys that you're really going to pay up for. I remember when I was younger, you'd pay to go see Shaq no matter what was happening. You might pay to see Vince Carter.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah. But you wouldn't pay to go see Tim Duncan, but you'd still, like the Spurs.
You don't think Tyrese Haliburton has 5 Gatorade commercials worth of highlights?
But you think, okay, if I had 2 games, I had Anthony Edwards on one and Tyrese Haliburton on the other, who are you going to pay to see?
Well, give me Ant Edwards. It might be him, but is it by a Grand Canyon size margin? I don't know. 888-710-4ISN. Get into Rafi Devers next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Dust still settling on the Rafael Devers trade. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. And Pearl, I think that the pendulum now has swung a little too far in the criticism of Rafael Devers. I get it's very easy to take aim at a guy who's making $300 million and who won't simply move positions. Like they're asking him, hey, would you mind scooching down a couple seats? And he's just being a diva or something like that. There's way more to the story. I think people are letting the Red Sox off the hook here by putting it all on Devers. Mm-hmm. And the fact that Rafael Devers, now with the San Francisco Giants, basically met the media and said, I'll play wherever they want. I think that's being used as a criticism of Devers as opposed to a criticism of the Red Sox of, hey, if you just did the catch more flies with honey than vinegar, perhaps he could have had this type of flexibility with you.
Can't you catch flies with a $300 million contract?
Not enough.
Not enough. Like, what's the money for?
No,
like, you should have to be nice to the guy. You're giving him $300 million. Isn't that enough?
Well, see, I think maybe in a vacuum, no, but in real life, yes, because you think that the money that Devers got paid means that he should take everything or take any of the slings and arrows that come his way.
Slings and arrows? They weren't as. What's a sling and arrow?
Well, or just the lack of, I don't know, I want to say etiquette, grace. So however they did it, just not basically trying to make him more of a collaborative partner in these decisions, right? Because Alex Bregman gets signed by the Boston Red Sox, but they told Devers, hey, we're still going to keep you at third. Then they changed their mind about that. Then he gets comfortable with the situation. He's not happy with it. He gets comfortable with it. He goes to DH, and then all of a sudden their first baseman gets hurt, and it's like, hey, we're going to need you for first base. When there's already been a fracture of trust. Like, you think that the money means you get no say. I think a lot of athletes think the money means that we're in this together. Like, you think of me as the face of the franchise, and while, maybe you don't love this, Pearl, but, guys who are highly paid get better treatment and sometimes get their, get taken care of in a little better way than what the Red Sox did to Devers.
Not on my team. If I'm old school. If my manager says play first base, I'll play first base. Yeah, I mean, listen, you got to me, they like once in a rare while does the if Barry Bonds wants a special chair in the locker room, I get it. You're hitting 73 homers in a season. Rafael Devers, no, you don't get special treatment. Like, you can't have a team. I'm thinking more some of my other favorite sports, but you can't have a team where somebody's putting their individual needs over the team. Like, you have to have everybody on board, especially the superstar. Isn't that the key to winning titles in this world, is having everybody to have one mission? I feel like the best teams ever, everybody is all going the same direction. And what the coach or manager says we need from you, they do.
Okay, well, Rafael Devers won a World Series. So to tell him he doesn't know how to win, I think would be pretty ridiculous, because he has been part of a championship.
So you're saying Devers wouldn't move because that was all about winning and not about him?
No, I'm just saying that it's not like he's been some locker room cancer and some clubhouse cancer where he has, been a good stats, bad team guy. That's not the case. He's been on teams and good teams and contributed to the point of winning. And here's the other part. So, I think that there's a part of this where you specifically don't see the value of Rafael Devers, right? He's a top 10 hitter in baseball. No, is he Barry Bonds? No, but nobody's Barry. And he is a really good hitter. Okay. And the Red Sox paid him like they wanted him to be the face of the franchise. And then they started messing with him, is the way that I could see it.
I think that that deal was a little over the top because they were really burned by not paying for Mookie Betts. And the fan base was really upset. And it felt like they were chasing a mistake with that deal. Okay. On some of the things I've read, it did feel like, well, you know what? We got to pay somebody because Bogarts is gone and Betts is gone. So we got to pay somebody. That felt like that kind of deal to me.
Yeah, well, and you can go on. Chris Sale, who we're watching last night, just mow down the Mets in Atlanta yesterday. So, but I ask you this question. You just talked about the Red Sox and all the people they've let walk out the door or traded away. So who actually seems to be more into winning? The Red Sox or this one individual person? Because I don't think the Red Sox get the benefit of the doubt right now either. You don't let Mookie Betts walk. You're not a small market. You don't let Mookie Betts walk to trade him to the Dodgers, where he goes on to win multiple World Series. You don't do that if you really have winning as the one and only thing. The Red Sox put money in a teardown above winning. And to be fair, I think you could say Devers wants to win even more than the Red Sox want to win.
I can't say that. I mean, then, dude, DH, play first. You're not a great third baseman. Then if you want to win so bad, then just do what the manager and everybody wants you to do.
Well, I think that it's not as easy maybe as we make it out to be. And guys do have a preference. Like, look at Shohei Ohtani, right? Shohei's different. He's in a different category. His routine is down to the minute. You know, Mookie Betts, I see him for 5 minutes before the game. The clubhouse opens 3 hours before first pitch. You see him for 5 minutes. He's a creature of habit. Baseball players are without a doubt a creature of habit. Who is it? Wade Boggs ate the same meal before every single game. I mean, that's just a small example. These guys are like OCD. And so to just say, hey, by the way, can you roll out there? Like, you know, there was a time when Giancarlo Stanton, before he got hurt all the time, didn't want to DH because he felt like it took him out of the game. He's like, I want to play in the field because I need to stay engaged. I can't just be down below, behind the dugout in a batting cage for an hour and then have to come and take 4 hacks and that's it. Like, guys have preferences. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah. But does that change your calculus if you're a manager? Say, for example, you know, you have Devers and you have Bregman, and Devers is like, I really want to play third base. What do you do, Maggie Gray, as a manager?
I think I go to him and say, at first, I don't lie to him. I don't lie at first and say, you're going to play third when I never, ever intended. I feel like, as you know, you guys talk about this like, be a man. You know, you got to talk to a man-to-man conversation, right? You don't lie to somebody. You don't BS them. And so I don't think I ever put the thought in his head that you're going to still be playing third if we do get Bregman. Say, listen, lay it out. This is what's happening. He's a better third baseman than you. We're going to need you to DH, and we might need you to play first. We might need you to play, you know, left field. We might need you to sell hot dogs.
Right.
Just be honest.
Okay. So, but again, back to the question. You're the manager, and like, what do? You force him, you ask him to play first base, right?
I think from the very beginning, you have to say, listen, Bregman coming means we may need you to switch positions. Not, hey, by the way, this is yours. You know, third base is yours. Don't worry about this guy.
So maybe they
messed it up from the beginning is what I'm saying.
Messed up. But say in their situation, you have this guy who's a malcontent. Don't you understand? If you're a Red Sox fan and you're like, okay, well, he didn't want to switch positions with us, and it clearly has an issue with the front office, whoever's fault it is, like, you got to get that guy out of there, right? I mean, you can't have your best player saying, I'm not going to listen to the manager and this guy stinks. Like, how are you going to have a team where everyone's trying to win together if the best player hates the team?
Right. So I think that's also where you have a guy like Alex Cora, who's the manager, who's known to handle egos in a way that's really amazing, right? Like, he gets all the praise in the world for how he handles guys. This is not the first time in history that this has happened where you've had to smooth something over with somebody. You know, I don't know what the tricks are. I don't know if it's giving him, you know, a second locker. I have no idea. Whatever it is, you know, find a way to bring him back. Find a way to mentally bring him back. Now, maybe you'll say that was never going to be.
I don't know. I'm also reading there. Obviously, you mentioned it. There are some people who are ripping Devers.
I think it's getting too much on Devers.
But how do you know? You're not in the locker room. Fair. I mean, he might be a huge diva.
Yeah, but you're not either. And he might have just been someone who felt like the organization was lying to him and got scarred by it.
Oh, come on, dude. You sound more like a diva to me based on your behavior. The analogy for me is, this reminds me so much of relationships I've heard where a guy's dating a woman for a long time and they break up, and then he immediately gets married in the next relationship. Yes. And the woman's like, well, why did you want to get married to me? So Devers leaves the Red Sox. He's like, yeah, I'll happily play. And he says, I'll go to San Francisco and I'll happily play any position because for me, winning is the only thing. Well, what happened a week ago? Like,
yeah. It's funny. It's like,
that doesn't bother you?
Anyone but you.
That doesn't sound hypocritical in any way to you?
No, and actually this happened to a friend of mine. And it's happened other times. And I still don't know why men do this. Dating my friend forever, and then they break up, and he literally married the next person he was dating.
Happens all the time.
For like, they were only dating for like 6 months, and then all of a sudden they're married. Can men explain why that happens? Just as an aside from baseball.
Can women explain why they do things the way that they do?
I'll try.
Well,
this is a specific man thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just think maybe the woman wasn't right in his mind, but more accurately, maybe say you date your college girlfriend for 4 years.
Right.
the person you are when you started that relationship is not who you are as an adult. So I think that there's a lot.
You grow apart.
You grow out of it.
Right.
And the next one is like, oh, I'm an adult. I'm ready for this relationship. But that happens. Same happens with women and men too.
I think what happens sometimes where guys will date women for like 5 years or something like that, and then they'll break up and then they'll marry the next person. I think it's because like the first girlfriend kind of broke you guys in. You know, it's like, this is what it's like to kind of live with somebody. This is what it's like. Hey, it's not that scary. It's not that bad.
She's psychoanalyzing us men. She's woman-splaining us.
I'm women-splaining you. TM.
By the way, so I'm thinking of my favorite team, the Phillies. Bryce Harper said, I'll play whatever position you want. And he's got a $300 million contract. A lot of guys, I think, would not act like Devers and be like, yeah, I'll happily play first base or DH. I think that was an option that didn't seem to be on the tables for him.
Right, but don't you think now the fact that Devers went to San Francisco and says, I'll play wherever you need me to, this was more about a personality conflict, and clearly he felt that the organization did something wrong.
Yeah, he sounds
we
like
don't want to honor that at all.
But he sounds like a me-first guy, not a team-first guy.
But not on San Francisco now.
Yeah, but the fact that he's like that with San Francisco, not Boston, means Boston made the right move.
Man, it's just hard for me to say that anyone made and I get the addition by subtraction. I get that guys' personalities and stuff don't mesh, but it's so hard for me to get there where you say, we just traded away one of our best player, and a guy who still, despite all of this, was still putting up big offensive numbers for us, for me to say, we're better off.
Well, I generally don't like the huge contracts deep in the 30s for sluggers. You're a Mets fan, so that's your jam, right?
Yeah.
That's like all you guys ever do
that's
historically.
The whole identity.
Yeah. And Mookie was a little younger when he left, right, than Devers. So,
well, Devers is 28, though. He's not old.
I don't know. That contract runs pretty far. Mookie was 26 when he left Boston. It just doesn't feel like Devers' upside is worth $300 blank million.
Man, you just don't like Devers. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476.
I read every story on this from every baseball analyst. I was like, nobody wanted that contract. So it's not like I'm some outlier. That contract was an albatross. People were surprised that Boston didn't have to attach anything to it.
Well, that's because San Francisco's paying the whole thing. I'm curious from the San Francisco side of this, we're on in the Bay Area. Are you nervous? I mean, Devers is coming in and saying all the right things. It does feel like a rebound relationship for sure.
Yeah, he'll give you 2 good years of team first play. I mean, I'll bet you in 5 years you'll hear something diva-ish out of him when he starts to decline.
Speaking of the exact opposite of diva behavior, there's a question brewing in our chat. If you want to come aboard, it's youtube.com/InfinitySportsNet and twitch.tv/InfinitySportsNetwork. It doesn't really matter how we got to this conversation, but here we are. This is from Drunkle Sam. What's tougher, a hard hat guy or a lunch pail guy? You thought about that?
I do not understand this question.
Like,
what's the difference?
Yeah, well, is there a difference?
I thought they were the same because aren't hard hat guys bringing a lunch pail to work anyway?
Is it the same? Because Kaplan says lunch pail by far.
I thought it was synonymous.
I think hard hat guy is harder than lunch pail guy.
Why is that?
Because hard hat guy, you're still doing the dangerous work, but maybe you just buy your food somewhere else.
And what, the lunch pail guys are just out there eating lunch, not doing anything?
They might be.
Well, I mean, given some of the construction workers here in New York City, all the traffic, probably. You're probably not wrong.
I don't want to call out anyone specifically, but I know there's 3 shifts going on a lot of times, but some of the amount of marijuana that's smoked by the construction workers on the streets of New York is a little alarming.
Yeah, I know. When you're at a high floor.
You guys are the ones making sure
high.
the floor and the ceiling come together, we need you up there.
Floor is not the only thing that's high.
So I think you could be stoned and have your lunch pail. Doesn't mean you're tough. Hard hat guy, I think, is the top of the food chain.
Yeah, I mean, hard hat sounds a lot tougher than lunch pail for sure, but something seems incredibly irrelevant about this question to me.
It's in the chat. If you're into that kind of thing, youtube.com/InfinitySportsNet. Yeah. The real hard questions. Rafael Devers, who's to blame here? 888-710-4ISN.
The hard hat guys are to blame.
Do you think that Devers now saying he'll play any position in San Francisco makes him actually look worse?
I love it all.
Good riddance. I have a lot of friends who are Red Sox fans. My father-in-law is a Red Sox fan. At a certain point, they're going to be psyched. Because you don't think they're going to invest again in this team? They're going to have some other $300 million guy in a few years Don't count that franchise out. Every time they look like they're down, they come back in 3 years and win a World Series.
Who, the Red Sox?
Well,
Yeah.
fair, but they keep letting guys go.
Hey, you know what? As long as Liverpool keeps signing players, more players for the Red Sox are going to skedaddle and get on out of here.
But
Marcelo
Liverpool-
Meyer, you want an extension? Too bad. I got to extend Mohamed Salah.
No. Once they get the Liverpool roster set, then they'll start reinvesting in the Red Sox. I'm telling you, there's money it's cyclical.
That Liverpool roster isn't going to be ready until August. The Red Sox are going to be out of the race by then.
Right. I'm saying like 2029. Watch.
I mean, it's 2025. We got to wait for that. 2029.
Wait, I mean, listen, you're a Buffalo Bills fan. You've won no titles. You have to wait. Oh, my God. God forbid we have to wait 4 years to win another title. That's pretty soon.
I know, but if they told Josh Allen, hey, by the way, we don't want you to play quarterback. We need you to play wide receiver. I'd expect him to be like, you guys are crazy. I'm not doing that.
I'd also expect him to be lining up at wideout week 1.
It's funny.
That's a good analogy. Asking Josh Allen to play quarterback. Moving from third base to first base. Same.
It's funny about this conversation because it is about the Red Sox who are flush with cash, but they have all these different mouths to feed, right? Because of the ownership group that owns them. Kind of reminds you a little of like what's going to happen with the Lakers now. Lakers got sold last night, $10 billion to a company, basically a hedge fund or whatever, the investment venture capitalists who have lots of sports mouths to feed, right? The Dodgers take up a lot. Now the Lakers are going to take up a lot. Chelsea, right, it's not Chelsea. What football club do they own?
Chelsea. It's Chelsea.
It is Chelsea, isn't it? Because Abramovich sold, right? I think.
So, but here's one thing. Like you have a rookie salary cap in the NFL. You have a cheap quarterback. They have a cheap young star they can build around because they haven't had to pay Bronny yet.
Wait till that Bronny money comes in.
They got Bronny. They're building around LeBron James Jr. They're fine.
And Luka's a sidekick.
They're going to invest into that Formula One team and leave the Sparks, the Lakers, and the Dodgers in the dust.
They own the entire National Women's Hockey League. The whole league. Hell of a portfolio.
That's impressive.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. So Devers is on the table for you. We have the Lakers on the table for you. Do you think this new owner is going to take effect and we're going to see the positive impact in time for this to work for LeBron and Luka? New ideas, new everything.
Mm-hmm. LeBron is 75% NFL commentator now, only 25% NBA player, so they better hurry.
I thought you were going to say LeBron's 75 years old.
No.
I thought you were going to do 75% coverage on his head.
There's a lot of smoke going on about the NBA, a lot of people talking about the NBA. I haven't heard LeBron say one thing about improving the Lakers. Seems like he has moved on. I am sorry, but there are a lot of teams in the news right now, and I am not hearing much about the Lakers except for this sale. So I think this move is for down the road, not for LeBron James.
888-710-4ISN. And another detail of the Lakers sale, 10 bills, but also that Jeannie Buss is going to stay on as the governor. I can't imagine that's going to be for very long, though. She gets to make decisions still?
What does the governor do?
They're like the league representative. Now, Mark Cuban was going to be that guy for a while the team was in transition. And then what happened? The new owner was like right up there when they made the Western Conference Finals, when they made the finals last year, accepting that trophy.
Yeah, but Cuban still does sit front row.
Yeah, he probably grandfathered those courtside, but I don't think he has anything to do with the Luka trade. He said he didn't.
Yeah, and Wick Grosbeck, he's the governor too?
He's the governor of the Celtics, and they're doing the same type of thing. Like, you get to hang on for a couple of years while we do this, like, changeover.
It's a super cool term for a sports guy.
Governor?
Yeah, I'm the governor of the team.
Hey, who's going to be Cooper Flagg, the governor?
He needs a nickname. I don't know if that's going to work.
Ace Bailey, the governor.
His approval rating is like a real politician right now. Not good.
Fits.
888-710-4ISN. Lakers on the table for you. Rafael Devers. We've also got some Shedeur Sanders news, which we'll get to next. It's MVP.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
$8.95
kicking up the show. Maggie and Perloff.
Amy Lawrence in her power, but wait, hold up, no seat in sight. Her chair is gone this quiet night. Odyssey's finest, infinity's pride. Air, is it hidden under Hickey's hair? Or maybe Gub's got it, he swears, I swear. It's not Pete Bellotti, he's still not there. Somebody fess up, who stole Amy's chair? So if you see a chair on the go, rolling around on some late night show called Infinity Odyssey 2, Amy's coming and she's looking for you. His turkey day plans, sipping bourbon from a can, yeah, that's his stance. He's got the Maggie and Perloff show on blast, feeling thankful and tipsy, talking fast. Drunk Uncle Sam, he's the man with a drink in his hand and a wild fan plan, chatting up a storm about freedom and fuss, complaining about censorship and making a fuss. Daly's in the chat, shouting out loud, hey, let us speak free, don't censor the crowd. But Drunkle just laughs with a grin and a wink. He's got Maggie and Perloff and plenty to drink. Drunkle Sam, he's the man with a pumpkin pie and a turkey day tan. Bourbon in his cup, he's our #1 fan, raising a glass to the Maggie and Perloff clan. So here's to Drunkle, all merry and bold, with Thanksgiving cheer and chat uncontrolled. He's loud, he's proud, a fan through and through. Cheers, Uncle Sam, we're thankful for you.
Sports guy, we know he talks games every day. There was a kid with big dreams in his eyes, wanted to reach for those starry skies. He saved up his change, packed his bag just right, signed up for space camp, aiming for flight. But Maggie Gray, with a smirk so wide, called him Sally Ride on the playground side. Hey there, astronaut, where's your rocket to Mars? Guess the spaceship's parked out back by the cars.
1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Daily.
Do you believe that?
Deion.
You believe that?
Back on Maggie and Perloff. I know the story we're about to do right now, and I protest.
Okay.
Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, this is actually, it's not a daily Deion, it's a daily Shedeur.
Well, right. We've actually mingled the two.
Yeah.
He was caught going 101 miles per hour in a 60-mile-per-hour zone yesterday. If this was any other rookie or athlete, we probably wouldn't be paying much attention to it. Shedeur, it just gets back to the Shedeur is the name. Everything Shedeur does is amplified. Now, it's terrible to go that fast. It's dangerous.
12:30 at night.
Yeah, I'm glad that they caught him, and I hope he doesn't do that anymore. But as far as like, there's probably 20 other stories like this with NFL players or rookies get caught 40 miles over. It's just, again, like Shedeur's got a spotlight on him at all times. That's all I will say about that.
All right, so you're protesting this story. I actually disagree with you. Yes, Shedeur is going to bring more attention, which is why he shouldn't be going 100 miles an hour in a 60 or 100 miles an hour period ever.
Right.
And I get he's driving fancy cars, and they can go that fast. It doesn't mean you should. He has to understand the responsibility. But the other part is he's a quarterback, a high-profile quarterback who's currently in a quarterback battle. I disagree with you that it wouldn't be a story with anyone else. Maybe not your backup defensive tackle or some kind of no-name cornerback, but a high-profile. He was in the Heisman race last year.
That's what I'm saying.
I know, but so you're saying we are only paying attention because it's Shedeur. Disagree. If it was any other big-time college quarterback who's currently in a quarterback battle in training camp that we're paying attention to, where you think every little twist and turn is getting documented, I think that person, like if it's Jaxson Dart, I think it's news.
But the only reason we're paying so much attention to that quarterback battle is because Shedeur Sanders is there. Otherwise, nobody would care.
Well, see, I understand. I'm not disagreeing that he brings more attention.
He's all the attention.
But I think any quarterback would bring this kind of attention. I think if Kenny Pickett had got going 100 and a 60, we wouldn't have a segment called Daily Pickett, but we'd still talk about it.
No, we wouldn't. If Flacco, Pickett, and Dylan Gabriel were just a 3-man quarterback competition, everyone would be like, oh my God, who cares? That's like Loserville, USA. The fact that Shedeur is there is the only reason the singular reason we're paying so much attention to the Browns quarterback battle.
Okay, that's fine. But let's also just say if this was an actual quarterback we cared about in college, who was in the NFL.
So Will Howard. Let's say Will Howard.
Not Will Howard, because Will Howard wasn't projected to be a first-round pick that dropped to the 5th round. Let's say it's an actual first-round pick.
But I'm sort of saying the same thing. The only reason this is because he fell. Yeah, Shedeur, everything about Shedeur, the fall is part of it. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just thinking the Shedeur stories, everything gets magnified, and he's probably going to get, I don't want to excuse his driving at all, but I think he's going to get more negative attention for this story than a normal rookie would.
More negative attention. Well, I mean, are people ready to sort of, I don't know.
Yeah.
Are they ready to jump on and pounce on him to say, it's like, do you make good decisions? Before the draft, that was a big question. Like, are you treating this draft process, professionally? And do you care about it? And now it's like, you're in a quarterback battle. Do you care about this because you're going 100 and a 60? I just think
there's so many players who do that.
Well,
this
is life being Deion's son. And this is life being a high-profile college quarterback.
You're right. And I hate that fast driving. I think it's terrible. I think you should go to jail for it. Because it happens where I live a lot. Like, I'll be on the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway, and three sports cars will go 200 miles an hour. It's terrifying. But
luckily, he wasn't, as far as we can tell, it
was at night.
Wasn't drinking, wasn't, under the influence of anything, thank God, and also wasn't drag racing.
Right. Shedeur reportedly doesn't drink or do drugs, and never has. So it just feels like there's so much hype around Shedeur. It almost feels unfair to him. Like, it's like, can't he just, this is going to sound dumb, can't he just be an NFL rookie? No.
Well, I think it'd be a story with a quarterback of his stature.
No, I don't. I think it's more
like
because
if it was
of his last
Carson
name.
Beck, I think we'd still talk about it.
Yeah, but not like this. I think it's his last name. If Carson Beck will never get the attention, like Will Howard will never get the attention. Damon, Quinn Ewers maybe, but a little more. But generally, I think Sanders, that name everything he does is going to be under a spotlight.
For the motorheads, he was pulled over in a Dodge TRX Ram, a truck.
A truck's going 100 miles an hour?
Well, these Rams TRX, they sure are.
I'm not a car person. I'm sorry. I don't know how is it a pickup truck?
It's a pickup, yes.
I'm gonna Google
Dodge
image
TRX.
Dodge TRX.
It's quite customized as well.
No doubt. It's definitely very customized.
What color is it?
Maybe black. I think it said black actually in the ESPN report, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I mean, this truck, I would drive it 100 miles an hour too.
I mean, it looks huge though.
A black Dodge TRX truck, according to reports.
How does this thing get to 100 miles an hour?
The accelerator, you go down on it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for explaining.
Mansplaining.
Mansplaining how cars work.
You woman-splained to me earlier. I mansplained.
I women-splained why you guys break up with one woman and then marry the next one. So now you're mansplaining cars to me. Eye for an eye.
Got an answer there, Bogusch?
About cars or chicks?
Yep.
Yeah, neither.
What do you know less about?
Cars.
Yeah, okay, buddy.
Okay, Bogusch has headlines for us.
The Lakers' reported sale at that record $10 billion valuation was the second sale in the news yesterday. The first was the Tampa Bay Rays with Stu Sternberg apparently in advanced talks to sell to a Florida real estate developer for $1.7 billion. Sternberg bought the team in 2004 for just $220 million. It wasn't a bad day on the field either for his Rays.
The pitch. Lined up the middle. It's a diving attempt and off the glove of Holiday. Rounding third, Diaz to throw by Henderson. Safe at home. The Rays have taken a 9-8 lead.
After it was 8-0 Baltimore, the Rays rallying for a 12-8 win. This is the largest comeback in the majors this season.
What happened to the Orioles? Why do they stink so much?
They actually have been playing well, I think, for them the last 2 weeks or so, but this was 8-0 after the top of the second. They don't score again, and they lose by 4.
Oof, P.U.
The Astros, meanwhile, ran away and hid from the A's last night in Sacramento.
The 0-1.
From the A's.
And Altuve hits it high in the air, pretty deep to left center. Clark is going back, looking up. See you later! Jose Altuve with a 3-run shot. His 12th home run of the year. And the Astros lead is 5-1.
Robert Ford on Astros radio. Altuve's 3-run homer, part of an 11-4 rout of the Athletics. Houston with 20 hits last night. They have scored 24 runs over the last 2 days in Sacramento. The Guardians, 4-2 winners in San Francisco. Justin Verlander allowed 4 runs over 4 2/3 after missing a month with a right pec strain. The Jays dumped the Diamondbacks 8-1, and Will Smith, a game-ending pinch hit solo homer bottom 9 for a 4-3 Dodgers win over the Padres. LA has won the first 3 games of this 4-game set, 5 straight wins for them overall. We are now told that Rutgers star Ace Bailey has canceled his pre-draft workout with the Sixers. This keeps Bailey as the only U.S.-based prospect who has not visited a team yet before the draft next week.
Bold strategy, Cotton.
I like it. Play hard to get. Smart.
Is that what you want to do in a job interview?
Are you the guy who's advising him?
Yeah. It's like, wow, this guy must know something we don't. He's like, I'm not even go there. Yeah.
I did see that the Sixers could still draft him. Just because he spurned him doesn't mean that the Sixers won't draft him. So, you know what? If this guy who has all of a sudden a very high bust potential goes to the Sixers, alrighty.
I'm showing you my phone right now. There are about 9 text conversations. Do we take Bailey despite him being so weird?
Yeah.
Because the other guy they're looking at, VJ Edgecombe, is being described as a solid role player. Like, no, you take the guy with the high upside. I want him 100%. I don't care if he shows up for an interview.
This is amazing. The diva behavior from a college kid coming to the NBA, Perloff will totally excuse. Rafael Devers doesn't want to move from third to first. Worst guy in the world. Get him the hell out. Actually, get him out of Major League Baseball, period. He doesn't even deserve to play. You realize this is what you're saying.
Go to Baseball United, guy.
Yeah, play in the United Arab Emirates, Derek. Rafi Devers.
Okay. Forget Devers for a second. If I describe one guy as a 6'5" solid defensive player and the other guy is potentially the next Kevin Durant or potentially the worst bust in NBA history, which guy are you going for?
The solid guy.
I'm going for Durant every time.
I'm probably trading out of the pick, actually. But
oh, my God. I'm 1,000% going for the boomer bust guy.
Isn't he a guard, too?
By the way,
Bailey? No.
So VJ Edgecombe is a solid role player. I thought this was supposed to be an unbelievable draft, and we're already at pick 3, and we're just that solid role player?
Well, it's just that VJ Edgecombe seems non-spectacular to me. Yeah, I mean, listen, Con Knippel's at 4 in a lot of drafts, and like that guy all of a sudden is your number 4 overall pick. I don't know. I just feel like Ace Bailey, I'm even fascinated by his weird diva behavior. Seems like there's a lot to work with.
Fits with Joel Embiid. Fits with Joel Embiid.
I know. Ben Simmons, these divas have really worked out for you.
Turns out the worst guy we got was Jahlil Okafor. And he wasn't a diva. He was just very immature. And then I guess he became a diva. But I didn't know. He was a Duke kid. I didn't know it at the time. I just think I've seen Ace Bailey play I mean, Bogusch, you've seen him too, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I get it.
Physically, whew, I mean, he seems like a no-brainer at number 3.
I know, but if he's going to be a head case, we had Jeff Goodman on the show yesterday from Field of 68, who covers college hoops, exclusively, and he said he's got an agent who represents no NBA players. Yep. They could be completely mishandling and botching this. So in some ways, I want to give the kid himself a little bit of space because maybe some adult in his life is just giving him some horrible, horrible advice.
Ace Bailey getting fire festivaled by himself?
He might be. I mean, honestly, you can't fake it for for 2 months in the pre-draft process. I don't understand that.
Well, maybe you could look at it as an opportunity. If he gets better advisors around him, he'll act more mature. Maybe a team thinks they can get him in the building and help him understand how the business works. That's what I'm hoping. I'm selling myself on this
Also,
guy.
by the way, I said it from the very beginning. The fact you had these 2 guys who are both going to go top 5 potentially, both at Rutgers, and couldn't make the tournament. I'm not saying couldn't win a round. Couldn't make a field of 68 is a huge red flag for me.
You beat me to it. I was going to ask if we need to retroactively give you credit for this take, which didn't really make sense to anybody when you said it. But now, is this why they were like that?
I don't know.
Why
I'm
did they
just
win
saying,
more games?
You got 2 guys who are going to be 2 of the best in the draft, and you couldn't make the tournament?
I mean, Harper got sick and was hurt. Like, Harper was not himself, right?
No, and I think...
Yeah, he's amazing, by the way.
Yeah, they're both very good. I think they became the victims of, they were just kind of killing time before they could be in the NBA draft. I think
it's like a no-show.
Yeah,
they no-showed the season,
and not in a they're not committed kind of way. Just like they read the tea leaves, they want to be pros, and it was like being good at Rutgers was maybe not daily their top concern.
Right, but I could extrapolate that out a little bit.
I mean, you could.
Are you going to respond to any kind of coaching? All of a sudden, you're just going to turn it on. It's going to flip a switch, and you're going to be in the hardest league possible.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're also, they're still teenagers, and it's hard.
That's true.
It's hard to show up every single day. But is it excusable to a certain extent? You just can't, for different reasons.
Is there really a strong connection between college basketball success and NBA success?
I mean, I think Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons, these guys who didn't make the tournament at all and then go really high in the draft,
right? But Markelle Fultz had 17 other issues.
Yeah, you know what hand to shoot with.
Right, and Simmons clearly has other things to deal with as well.
What do they all have in common?
Sixers draft picks.
Yeah. But again, we watched the Final Four, right? And Florida and Houston, and UConn over the last couple of years, there's some great college players. I don't care what a guy did in college; it means nothing to me.
I don't disagree because who was Jalen Williams, 3 years ago?
Yeah, what did SGA do at Kentucky? Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I don't think they did anything.
In my opinion, he was fine at Kentucky, but I mean, there is a reason why he slipped out of the top 10 SGA. I mean, he wasn't exactly the top guy that draft.
I get it, but Jalen Williams clearly has a hunger and a desire to keep getting better and better. He went to a place that he could, they're all growing together. It's not like going to Philadelphia where every time if you fart, they're going to be like, get him out of here. It's a different
throw batteries at you.
It's a different type of fan base. It's not like, hey, rah rah, let's go team. Like Philadelphia, they basically want to ship you out from the first moment you get there. They're just waiting for a reason to turn on you. Right.
But I think if we're talking about college success, if you look at the top 10 players in the NBA, probably 8 of them have never won a tournament game. I mean, there's zero correlation. Jalen Brunson being the one exception.
I don't know. Chet Holmgren had a pretty good college career, and I think that helped him.
Top 10 players in the NBA.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's a top 50 player, but you look at most of these guys were like Kentucky, first of all, who never did anything. But most of them, I'm looking down the list, Anthony Edwards obviously didn't make the tournament. Jason Tatum was kind of disappointing in the tournament. Paolo Banchero, he didn't. I guess he might have made a Final Four, but generally, these guys are not great, and a lot of them are foreign players too. So that doesn't care. That doesn't bother me. Is he a weirdo? That bothers me.
You know what? Fair.
But you're a weirdo.
But Dylan Harper, NBA kid. That I feel like the two players are quite different.
I'm not lumping them together.
Yeah, Jerry Recco, who works at our sister station over here, does the Rutgers games.
Yep.
He said they're really nice kids. So I'm going to go on, but that's all I need.
Good dudes.
Yeah, and also Ace Bailey's spectacular highlight reel. So that's interesting.
Big dunker?
Yes, in warm-ups, he'll do like a 360. He's a little tall.
What more do you need, Pearl,
Yeah.
other than a great dunker?
Than a great layup line dunker.
He's like...
Let him finish. He's a little tall. I want to hear how this one ends.
Well, like...
a little too tall for the NBA.
So I'm a big slam dunk contest guy, and generally, if you're 6'8" or above, it doesn't look as cool when you dunk.
Oh, because you don't have to lift off as much?
Yeah, like nobody, like a KD dunk is not interesting.
So you're discounting Dwight Howard's ability to dunk?
Dwight Howard used
Blake
props.
Griffin?
Are you also drafting him to win dunk contest for you?
That's how I view the game.
Have you not bet Andrew Perloff? The dunk contest is the only thing that matters.
Yeah, I mean, centers. Nobody cares if a 7-footer dunks. When Vince Carter dunks, that's interesting. Yeah, that's common dunk contest knowledge, guys. The big guy is always at a disadvantage. You have to jump over a damn Kia to win the dunk contest.
Oh, fair. Bogusch, thank you. We'll get more in just a moment. Top of the hour, the Mount Olympus of Maggie and Perloff continues. Today we are in Cincinnati, the Queen City.
Is that right?
It came out of my mouth and I was like, suddenly, am I right about that?
You're good.
I'm right. What's Baltimore?
The Charm City.
Charm City.
What is Charlotte? Doesn't that have a city name too?
It does.
I looked up Queen City, and the first thing that pops up, Queen City Dispensary.
It's down the block.
Yeah.
And it opens, I'm sure, in 20 minutes.
9 o'clock.
Charlotte's also the Queen City, right? That's what I was getting that from. Yeah.
Whoa.
2 Queen cities.
That's a whole other Mount Rushmore. Mount Olympus.
Of just Queen
That's
Cities?
just Queen Cities.
No, just cities, nicknames. City of Brotherly Love.
Big Apple.
Big Apple.
La La Land.
Beantown.
The Windy City.
The Windy City. That's a 1 seed right there.
Look at that. City nicknames. We got
Queen City.
Player nicknames,
Guys,
city nicknames.
we have all of July. Let's not waste all the good stuff. No, Cincinnati, and this was a tough Mount Olympus. There are a lot of amazing sports gods who compete in Cincinnati. Maybe one is actually in the building with us right now. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Okay, got
Bobby
that
Witt
for
Jr.
you.
's here?
Joey Votto's doing a show here now, guys. The Lakers sell for $10 billion. Will they get any better? Do that next.
You're in a 5-minute break.
No, Andrew Perloff says $1 million baby, nah. A movie about boxing, I'll just pass, move along. But guess what, folks? He's never even seen it. He just heard it was sad, so he's already beaten it. Oh, Perloff's got opinions, oh yes he does. Doesn't need to watch to join the buzz. There's a YouTube legend, better take note. Jamie's in the chat and he's ready to gloat.
Here's a brand new rule in the MLB. The golden at bat sounds fancy to me. But don't get excited, it's not what you think. Kinda like a shower, but one you don't wanna drink. It's a wild card swing, a shot for the stars. A chance for the bench guys who don't have the stars. But if you're thinking it's classy, better hold your applause. It's the kind of gold that makes you question the cause. Golden at bat, yeah, it sounds kinda strange. Like a wet joke, you wish you could.
In the bros in the head. It was the Arena Bowl, the big final game inside the mall, where legends stake their claim. The teams were stacked. Turn on the radio, it's time to hear it all. Maggie
Andrew Bogusch, lost in the fog of golf. Bogusch can't see his way. People out his voice in his ears every day. Tom Brady.
Peter Bellotti loves Wendy's bacon treats. He
dances with joy every time he eats. Crispy strips of happiness, that's no lie. Peters and bacon, heaven reaching for the sky. Wendy's baked, it makes Peter so glad. One bite, he's the happiest lad. Crispy, crunchy.
Joins a trend that's hard to ignore.
Morning, noon, and night.
And a Bogusch had a plan on a sunny afternoon. Grabbed a bat and took the field under the summer moon. He said, Jack, let's show 'em how the Bogusch boys can play. But little did they know he had whiskey in his sway.
Oh, Andrew Bogusch, swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave it a good try, swinging at the pitches, stumbling on his feet, drunk on the diamond in the summer heat.
Jack's team was laughing as Dad took his stance, wobbling at the plate in a tipsy baseball dance. The coach was shaking his head, moms were all aghast, but Andrew Bogusch grinned, living in the past.
Oh, Andrew Bogusch, swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave
1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Wesley Financial. Stuck in a timeshare and want out? Contact Wesley Financial Group now and get a free timeshare exit information kit at wesleyfinancialgroup.com. We're doing Mount Olympus coming up for sports gods from every major sports city, and usually the music is coordinated with the city. What's going on here? Cincinnati's coming up. Where are my favorite Cincinnati artists?
Yeah, I don't think 50 Cent was from Cincinnati.
I
gotta
know
check that one, but
yeah,
I don't think he
saying.
was.
So you could have gone maybe Taylor Swift because she is associated with Cincinnati.
She is? I thought she was in Pennsylvania somewhere.
Oh, well.
Did she go on a Christmas tree farm near Harrisburg?
This is my Travis Kelce went to the University of Cincinnati.
Oh, that's all I got. Yes. No, she is attached.
Who's a famous musician from Cincinnati? I feel like we should know this. I have nothing. My brain has gone totally blank.
I blame EJ for this.
Why?
For taking the day off.
It's not his fault.
We might have to blame Cincinnati.
Guys, oh my gosh. We should know this. Bootsy Collins is from Cincinnati.
Who?
Manny, get out.
Bootsy Collins?
Actually,
what is this,
do yourself a favor.
Is this a 1910 baseball player? Bootsy?
Okay. You think I'm crazy. Listen to a little Bootsy Collins. You're going to be hooked.
No idea who. Bootsy Collins is McLovin, right?
What?
That's Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
No, he wrote the song about McLovin.
He may have. But
Bootsy Collins is huge?
Yes.
I know nothing
Isn't
about
he one of the P-Funk All-Stars? Am I speaking Chinese
He's
right
with
now?
Clinton?
Yeah,
Maggie,
George Clinton.
I speak 2 languages, and you are not speaking one of them.
Bootsy Collins not big in Mexico? You got to be kidding.
I think he's big in Guatemala, but not in Mexico.
So Bootsy Collins, is there a song called McLovin? What's the connection?
I don't know about that, but I just know Bootsy Collins is like amazing. Funk, like the star glasses. He even has like a signature look. Anyway, let's get to Rich in California while we look for more Cincinnati musicians. Rich wants to talk about Rafael Devers. What's up, Rich? How are you?
I am well. Bootsy Collins, the premier bass player, an incredibly talented individual.
Thank you, Rich. Rich gets it.
Okay. The problem that I have with that whole Devers thing is this is not the first time Boston has chosen to shoot their foot off.
Yeah. And
when you are got a guy who's bound and determined to do that, don't ration the ammunition. For them to actually have him go move to another position after he never touched a glove in spring training kind of comes out of that sabermetric kind of ideal. Well, you're a baseball player. You can play any place.
Right.
Which is like Jalen Hurts, you're a football player. Go play linebacker.
Right.
So wait, just out of curiosity, you're the second person to do this. You think Rafael Devers moving from third to first, a move that's been made 65 million times in MLB history, is the same as a quarterback moving to linebacker? I just want to get that straight.
Yeah, I think it's exactly that because you're talking about different skills. Everything goes through the first baseman, and there are certain things that he has to be able to do. It's like that scene in Moneyball where they're going, well, just put him at first base. It's easy. Yeah. And then they go Ron Washington. No, it's very, very difficult.
That was a good joke, but not reality, dude. Anybody can play first. I could go out and play first base for the Philadelphia Phillies right now. Just catch the ball.
Perloff, you would not last 5 seconds on the field
How
down
many
there.
grounders?
You'd be ducking for cover with every swing.
Before the DH came to the NL, what did you do when a guy was slightly hurt, no matter what position he played?
He became a pinch hitter.
No, you moved him to, if he was good enough and you needed his batting lineup, you moved him to first because you don't have to move at first. I mean, you get two grounders a month.
Well, except that there's that little double play that you have to handle, that one first to second, back to first again. There's the fact that you got to cut off. You've got to make the cut. Yeah, you've got to make the cutoff from right field.
I thought that was the second baseman, but anyway.
I'm with you on this. I'm with you. I think Perloff's oversimplifying it, and I think the fact of the matter is, and I think your first point warrants repeating, and Rich, thank you, which is the Red Sox, how do they get the benefit of the doubt? They keep shipping guys out they'd have more World Series. They would be even more spectacular if they had actually kept some of this talent in the building. And the only reason they're not doing it, take Devers away, but Betts and Bogarts and Chris Sale and those guys, is because of money.
Well, if you wanted to do this the year that they did not pay up for Mookie Betts, I'm fine with that take. But that ship has sailed. This you're talking about things that happened years ago.
It's the same idea.
But they were chasing the Betts mistake with the Devers contract. So two mistakes don't make a right.
I'm looking more Cincinnati musicians here. So Bootsy Collins, far and away, number one. And
I know Deuce McBride is from Cincinnati, right off the top of my head.
Well, that's not the same.
Do you have a rap career on the side?
just became a father.
The National, Pearl, indie rock band.
Yes.
I'm assuming you know them pretty well.
Indie rock
actually,
bands.
there's a few huge. There's a big scene. Walk the Moon's from Cincinnati.
The Isley Brothers. I'm hoping we've all heard of the Isley Brothers.
I've heard of
there.
them. Can't name you one song.
Well, that's on you. And
is it, or is it on the Isley Brothers?
It's on you. And then I didn't know that these people were a thing.
Promote your music. I
yeah, promote your music. I want to get to this list here and tell you what number they are. I've never heard of them. They're called the Ass Ponies.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're indie rock 90s.
Yeah, they actually, I don't know why, but on this website I'm on with Cincinnati.
You're familiar with the Ass Ponies?
They have to black out all the lyrics. I don't know why. The internet,
they're like a Dinosaur Jr. kind of band. They're like a hardcore 90s indie rock.
They said ranging from contemporary rock to grunge to country to Americana. They've released 6 studio albums, acclaimed by critics in the 90s before disbanding in 2005.
Yeah, they were part of
R.I.P. the Ass Ponies.
They were definitely part of my scene.
Yeah.
Afghan Wigs, too, are from there. I'm looking. There's a band called Heartless Bastards. You guys know this band at all?
What are these?
Amazing.
And also Doris Day.
Oh, I'm familiar with her.
So, Que Sera Sera.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, because now you're talking my language. I think the guy from the National, got all these bands together. And
Maybe.
there was like a huge rock scene because the National, Aaron Dresser is the producer for Taylor Swift. Like he produces a lot of music.
Yep.
So there is a little Cincy indie rock, but there's definitely not like other cities. Like we were playing Seattle. Look, we had Jimi Hendrix and Macklemore and the Nirvana. It's definitely not it's not a music city, Maggie.
Apparently, James Brown recorded a lot of his music in Cincinnati. Not from there, but does that count a little? I don't know. Anyway.
See, we're stretching here.
Okay, the Mount Olympus, Maggie and Perloff, the four sports gods from Cincinnati comes your way next. Also, we've got details for you on this massive Lakers sale. The Buss family out. All it took was $10 billion.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
One of the most iconic franchises in sports being sold. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. $10 billion, Pearl. That's what it takes if you want to buy the Los Angeles Lakers. I know you were right there.
Oh, my God. I would love to own a pro team, but I don't have $10 billion.
Well, maybe you can find some rich friends and put it all together. Anyway, the Buss family, who is synonymous with the Lakers, Dr. Jerry Buss bought the team in 1979, and now Jeannie has been running it for the last several years, and they are selling to the owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers. I've got two questions for this entire situation. Number one, everyone loves how the Dodgers are being run right now, right? Mark Walter, the Guggenheim Group, Magic Johnson's part of it, obviously, and everyone loves this. They got Shohei's deferring all this money. They're able to spend $500 million on payroll. They're the reigning World Series champs. Are we going to be able to see any tangible improvements to the Lakers while LeBron James is still on the team, along with Luka Doncic? Like, that's my number one question for the immediate here of this new ownership.
That doesn't make sense to me. The draft is 6 days away. The ownership group cannot come in. I think you have 1 year with LeBron. That's what I'm like. You're talking about this year. Are you talking about LeBron playing till he's 43, 44? Because how is an ownership group going to come in 6 days and do anything?
It's a great question, but can I refer you back to Matt Ishbia, who bought the Phoenix Suns and literally the next day traded for Kevin Durant? Like it was like over the weekend, you know? And he made a huge decision there that ended up altering the face of the future of the franchise. Right. And ultimately Durant's going to get traded again. And it was a big disaster. But that happens, you know?
Well, I would say that financially the Lakers can't do that. But then again, they are the Lakers and they somehow got Luka Doncic. So maybe you're right.
They pull something out of something. I mean, thin air. These superstars fall out of the sky. And it's like, I'm sorry, the Lakers, you have an aging superstar. Let us just replenish the coffers here with a young guy. And so it's the Lakers. And here's the other part. You know, you can spend your way out of trouble in baseball if you want to, right? It's not like the Dodgers have made, not every signing has been awesome. But when you can use the money to make up for your mistakes, then it makes you look a lot better. Basketball and all the other more hard salary cap sports are not like that. You make mistakes, you might have to live with them, or it's very painful. Like, look, again, I'll bring up the Phoenix Suns. Their owner sucks. And look at how bad this has been, where he keeps hiring all these cronies, and they had 3 superstars and they can't make the playoffs or barely make the playoffs. It's a tough scene. So I'm not just saying that because the Dodgers ownership has had success, it automatically means now the Lakers are going to be so much better. I don't know. I'll wait and see on that.
Well, I mean, I think you and I are having two different conversations. All that really matters is what do you build around Luka Doncic. I can't see, and you did bring up a good point with the Suns, but I can't see cavalry coming to help LeBron. Like, it's going to have to be LeBron and Luka and what they have around them. I just don't, because I'm watching all these trade rumors. It's all supposed to go down next week, right around the draft, because some of the high picks are up for sale. Like, everything's going to happen by next Thursday.
Yeah, the draft's Wednesday.
We'll know everything. By Thursday morning, I think the hot stove is going to be mostly over. I haven't heard the Lakers involved with anybody, not even Kevin Durant, who I don't think would even help them win a title. What are they going to do?
Well, to be fair, we didn't hear anything about the Luka trade, and they somehow pulled that off. So there's more to the Lakers than meets the eye. I
just can't see that kind of move happening again.
This is just my immediate question. Do we see the impact of new ownership right away like we did with Phoenix? That's number one. And then my second question with this one is there, what's to the timing of this? And this is a little bit more maybe for the league, which is, why did Mark Cuban and Wyc Grousbeck, who owned the Boston Celtics and whose father owned the Celtics, why have they sold in the last 18 months and now Jeannie Buss all of a sudden is selling? Now, maybe, listen, someone puts $10 billion in your lap, that's going to turn your head. So maybe they're just cashing out, or maybe it's something different and they're seeing the future as storm clouds. I don't know. But these iconic owners are now exiting the sport, which is a little odd to me. At the same time.
How long had Wyc Grousbeck been there?
So the Grousbeck family had owned the Celtics for a long time. It goes back to the father. It's a lot like Jeannie Buss with Dr. Jerry Buss. Yeah.
Oh, I actually had no idea. I thought Red Auerbach was he was the Busses we all know.
Right.
There's been TV shows. The Grousbecks have owned the Celtics.
Yeah, the dad owned the Celtics.
So
and
the
now
Celtics that used to kick my Sixers' butt were owned by a Mr. Grousbeck.
Yeah. Maybe not the household name, but in Boston.
Okay, that's where I'm confused. Because in the show, in all the movies about the Lakers, Jerry Buss would meet with Red Auerbach. And that was, Red Auerbach was at all the owners' meetings. He was the face of the team. He wasn't the owner?
I don't think so. I think it was the general manager and the coach.
Okay. Anyway, I think it's because the foreign money is coming in. It's a little bit like Live Golf. The Guggenheim Group just took a massive investment from Abu Dhabi. So same story in every sports. Private equity and foreign money is coming into sports in a big way. We talked about it with college football.
Yep.
Florida State took some massive foreign investment. I think there's more capital. So I think the offer was too good for the Busses. You might be right. Maybe it's a bubble coming too, but I think it's the offer. I mean, $10 billion, as you just said, it's hard to turn away from.
Right. And so now you also have to think, okay, well, this foreign money isn't going anywhere, right? Especially the Middle Eastern stuff, the stuff from the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, from Saudi Arabia. This is not going away, the sports money. So who's the next big franchise, maybe a family-run franchise, who gets sold? And I'm going to put my hat in the ring here. I think it's the New York Yankees. And we think the Yankees, the Lakers, and the Dallas Cowboys may be in a tier of their own, Pearl, in terms of North American sports and valuations and all of that. I think the Yankees are the next ones. And it's not that Hal Steinbrenner has not, done a fine job. I actually think he is a good owner. He gets totally ripped apart and shredded because the Yankees haven't won a World Series since 2009. That's not good enough for the Yankee fan. But I think that he is a fine steward of the Yankees. I just wonder, does he have the same zest and zeal? He's not out and about like George Steinbrenner. He's not a big figure in New York like James Dolan or even Woody Johnson. He is not somebody who seeks the spotlight at all. He doesn't seem like somebody who needs this for his ego or anything. In fact, I think he goes out of his way to be the anti-George Steinbrenner, to be unlike his father in so many ways. So I think that the Yankees, I wouldn't be surprised if they're the next big, huge franchise to sell.
Do they own the stadium? I think they do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't see that happening. It's too much money. Because if the Lakers go for $10 billion, what the Yankees go for, I can't even imagine what the Yankees would go for. I think they're even more valuable than that. So somebody's going to put together $15 billion for the Yankees? Your logic makes perfect sense, and I know nothing about the situation, but it just feels like too much money. Like the Yankees and the Cowboys feel like a precious artwork, like the Mona Lisa or something. Almost I know.
But would the Lakers have been that 48 hours ago? And by the way, I'm sorry, the Yankees do not own the stadium. It looks like the city of New York owns the stadium. But
really,
by the way, the Yankees, according to AI Overview, right now valued at $8.2 billion.
Right.
That's
well, now after the Lakers,
the valuation.
Yeah, I mean those Forbes lists are already always like 40% below what they actually sell for. I think the value is crazy. I don't know. It just, yeah, you're right. The Lakers would have felt that way, but the Yankees even more so. To me, the Lakers are probably a tick below the Yankees and the Cowboys, in my mind. But I'm not an expert on the economics of this. Maybe you're right.
But to be honest, though, what has more worldwide appeal?
Well,
the Lakers?
No, the Yankees. Right.
Well, what's bigger? I mean,
the Yankees are the symbol of America worldwide.
Well, but the Lakers, how big were they in China? I mean,
enormous.
Kobe was.
The NBA is enormous in Asia, but I mean, if you're walking around in Europe, you'll see a Yankee hat in London. You'll see a Yankee hat in Madrid.
And you're not going to see a Kobe Bryant jersey in Italy?
No, I think the Yankees are. I would argue the Yankees are a little bigger. The Lakers, Kobe was big, LeBron's big, but Jordan was huge. I'm not sure.
I mean, the conversation is 1A, 1B.
Yeah, right. I always say the sun never sets on the Lakers empire. I think that they are more worldwide, but maybe we're splitting hairs here. Anyway, if you're asking me the next big franchise to sell, I would say the New York Yankees. How do you get to a number? How do you get to a number on any of this stuff, right? It starts at $10 billion. Here's the number. And then go up from there.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I'm looking at the most recent list. The Cowboys are the biggest one, and they valued them at 10 point. Then the Warriors, Rams, Yankees, Knicks, Patriots, Giants, Lakers were
Rams.
Yeah, that LA market. Oof.
I guess, yeah.
But the NFL also, too, much more valuable now. Because NFL owners, as I understand, not only do you own the team, like you get like $300 million a year in revenue. Like the revenue is flowing into these teams.
Do you have a guess for who will be the next franchise to sell?
Well, we had a caller with the Saints.
Yep.
The Colts seem like the three daughters seem happy for now. Do we count the Seahawks? Because aren't they in limbo? I don't even know what.
Yeah, with Paul Allen. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I
deceased.
guess when the older person dies, that's when the team will be sold. But yeah, I guess I'll go Seahawks then.
Okay.
But the Lions, for example, they were owned by Miss Ford.
Yep.
Miss Ford forever. When she died, they kept it in family and turned it around. So that could happen.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Our pal Big Friendly earned some major props yesterday for a poem that he wrote to Perloff and the show.
That was a rap.
It was a rap. I'm sorry.
Get out of here.
It was amazing, Friendly. It really was. We were all marveling at it even after the show.
Thank you, Maggie Malone. Even though Perloff tried to question me, thank you for shutting him down. And let me touch on that,
Who's got
Perloff.
your back?
That's why I love you, Maggie Malone. That's why you're the mother Don of all Dons.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy Cool, I got a new nickname for you. Since you guys were talking about nicknames and you forgot the coolest NBA nickname in history, Hot Plate John Williams.
Oh, yeah.
I got another nickname for you, Slim Rick. You couldn't even be the bat boy for the Phillies. Stop it.
Thank you, Big Friendly. Pearl said he could play first base tomorrow for the Phillies. Like, you'd go cowering in the corner. We all would.
Right.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Big Friendly, but the reason it was so important that it was called Hot Plate John Williams was there were two guys named John Williams at the exact same time who had similar skill sets. That's how I remember it. Is that true? Can you confirm?
Well, what I remember is when Danny Manning they asked him why his name was Hot Plate. He said because a plate doesn't get past him. So that's why I thought they called him Hot Plate.
We'll take it.
Okay. Yeah, that's an all-time nickname.
Friendly, you're happy with the news today that the Bus family and Jeannie Buss has sold the team.
Yes, ma'am. And I will say this very respectable. Jeannie Buss has only won one championship. And I'm not going to say nothing bad about the bubble championship, but that's her only championship. This family, what Dr. Jerry Buss built, sports today, stadiums have names because the Great Western formed. Teams have their own media stations because of Dr. Buss. Dr. Buss built a conglomerate. Jeannie Buss let one man, LeBron James, get rid of a core of youth, Lamar Ball, Kuzma, and Ingram, and we had the Nuggets.
Randall.
Yeah, and Randall. Now, if I'm wrong, the year the Nuggets won the championship, didn't we have them up? Weren't we up by them every game to the fourth quarter? She does not hire real coaches, and she lets LeBron make all the calls. We'll never win with LeBron in L.A. again and with a bust owning the Lakers. And God rest Jerry's soul. That man was great.
You know, Big Friendly, I think the criticism of Jeannie Buss and running the team are completely fair. And appreciate the call. And again, fantastic job yesterday. The rap of Big Friendly was really just, it blew us all away. He's a talented dude. So here's the thing. The Lakers get criticized for running their organization, not like the worldwide brand that they are, Pearl, but more like a family-run business. And it's widely known they don't spend on coaches. Widely known that even though they'll spend on salary, which is important for players, they don't have like a built-out infrastructure like a lot of other teams do. No huge analytics department, no big scouting department. It's kind of like lucky you get to come work for the Lakers, not lucky us. We get to bring all this talent in the building. The Dodgers are going to are the opposite of that. So maybe the Lakers get a little of the ancillary stuff.
But I just think that there's so few moves you can actually make in the NBA. There are only 5 starters that your hands are often tied. You mentioned the cap is not quite as flexible as baseball. I don't know, like what all the analytics. Yes, Steph Curry was an analytics-driven team with the Warriors, but there was no analytic that drafted LeBron to Cleveland or Tim Duncan to San Antonio. Just a Wemby to San Antonio. What was the brilliant move to get Wemby to San Antonio? They won the lottery.
Right,
They got Wemby, and now they're going to be champions in 3 years.
But look at the finals right now. I mean, but
yeah,
OKC
I know, but they have no money. They're
Indiana.
OKC.
No, but I'm saying they built their team to take on all those teams that you're talking about, and they're standing there because of they're finding guys who were drafted with the 12th overall pick, 14th overall pick. Like,
well, I'm just saying they're kind of the opposite of the Dodgers. Though. That wasn't done by a huge market and all this money. So that's why I'm saying I don't think the Dodgers effect will bring the Lakers to a title. Can I real quick say John Hot Rod Williams?
Okay.
You remember him. He was a really good power forward for the Cavs. He was drafted in the second round in 1985. John Hot Plate Williams was drafted in the first round at number 12 overall by the Washington Bullets in 1986. So there's a Hot Rod and a Hot Plate. We need a 30 for 30 on these nicknames. The theme of the Maggie Perloff show this week is nicknames are not up to par anymore. We have to bring them back.
but who's Hot Plate right now? It's going to be Jalen Hot Plate Williams? Like
Embiid.
Embiid is hot lunch.
Zion. So Hot Plate had weight issues his whole career.
Oh, that's okay.
He was a wildly talented player who couldn't stick around because he couldn't pass the plate. Zion would be Hot Plate. Hot Rod, I don't know. That's kind of an old school nickname.
Instead, now we have Fatrick Mahomes. Like, we can't even get clever on this stuff.
Fatrick is crazy.
I just still can't believe that's actually a nickname people would ever call him.
Hey, can I be honest with you guys? Wasn't very familiar with the work of Hot Plate Williams. Looked him up, and I was immediately distraught at how thick this dude was.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He's like the new Jets kicker, that level.
The thicker kicker. Yeah,
if you guys have seen that dude,
that dude is girthy.
He was a predecessor to Tractor Trailer.
Manny, have you looked up Bootsy Collins yet?
Yeah, none of these tunes have ring a bell.
I think the McLovin, the character from Superbad, I've heard is based on a Bootsy Collins song. So get that song up.
Okay, we're going to do that in just a moment. You know, actually, we're doing the Mount Olympus of Maggie and Perloff. We've been so good about doing it at the top of the hour since we started this thing, but not today because the Lakers have taken up so much time and oxygen. So let's take a break. We'll come back with the Mount Olympus of Maggie and Perloff, the four sports gods from Cincinnati, and some major disagreements between myself and Perloff on this one. Don't move, M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. Of course, you know that song. That is Bootsy Collins playing Funk McLovin, which is where the name McLovin came from in the movie Superbad, I believe. Help me out here, Manny. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, from everything that I'm gathering, all I can find from this Funk McLovin disc is that it was actually on the soundtrack for the movie. So looks like this is, and he has a bunch of music, Lyle Workman with Bootsy Collins.
Who?
Lyle Workman is also on this track.
So a little backstory. We're doing Mount Olympus, 4 sports gods from every major city, and usually we play music from artists from that city, and we didn't really have much from Cincinnati. And Maggie opens her mic and says, "Oh my God, I can't believe we forgot this guy." I'm like, "Who is it? Is it like some superstar?" She's like, "How did we not remember? Of course, Bootsy Collins is from Cincinnati." And
I don't know why you guys were like dismissing it.
Well, I didn't know he was from Cincinnati.
And I feel like a dope.
Is he associated with Cincinnati? It's like, oh, there goes Cincinnati's finest.
I think so.
Yeah, Bootsy Collins and the Kelsey brothers.
Same.
Well, they're from Cleveland, but in the Heights.
But they're still Cincinnati products.
Anyway, I just love the fact that because Manny finds new music because he doesn't know anything that happened before the year 2000.
Not even really new music. I find old music that's new to me.
Right, like when Manny discovers like Aerosmith, it's like, what is this music? And now you get Bootsy Collins.
Real guitars?
Yeah. Wait till you get to George Clinton. I mean, he's all right there for you.
Where's he from?
Well, Parliament with Bootsy Collins.
No, what city?
Oh, I don't know.
Right?
I'm not
Wasn't
sure.
he from Arkansas?
Outer space.
Wait, just
technically, he's the mothership from outer space. He's an alien, of course.
You didn't really know Bootsy Collins was from Cincinnati before this morning, did you?
I did not, but the fact that I know who Bootsy Collins is, which is more than 40% of the show. I don't know where George Clinton is from.
Yeah, okay. Because
he's from Arkansas, right?
You're thinking of Bill Clinton.
Yikes.
More things that happened before the year 2000. From North Carolina.
I mean, they were both with Hillary.
Oh, God.
Whoa.
Wow.
Too soon?
Too
Amazing.
soon.
Okay. Let's get to the Mount Olympus of Maggie and Perloff.
It's time to feast your ears on Maggie and Perloff's Mount Olympus.
Bootsy Collins.
All right, Pearl, you're up first today. The four sports gods of Cincinnati.
All right, so this was really tough for me. I have been trying to balance out the sports, and I might have made a mistake here in Cincinnati because I think you could have put 3 Reds on here and been just fine. So I had to choose 2 out of the big red machine. I went with Pete Rose first, in part because he came back at the end of his career, and then he managed for better or worse.
That went great. Tell us more.
He was there in Cincinnati from 63 to 78, and then as a player again in 84 to 86. Then he managed from 84 to 89. He was really good as a manager, depending on the given day and,
and the given
factors. Other factors.
Okay.
But obviously, I think in a lot of ways, he wasn't the best player on that team necessarily, but he was the face of that team, and at times he was the best player, but he definitely makes it for me. I could keep Pete Rose off there. Number 2, Johnny Bench, greatest catcher of all time, easy. He was, I would argue, better than Pete Rose. The guy I left off, I'm sorry, Joe Morgan fans, I'm just going to say it, because he was just as good as either of those guys.
Yep.
But I wanted to get other sports in there. So Cincinnati, known very much for the Bengals, tough choice. There's some famous Bengals, really tough. And we have not had an offensive lineman on any Mount Olympuses, so we might as well have the best of the best.
Yep.
Anthony Munoz got my 3rd spot. Hall of Famer, considered by many the greatest tackle in NFL history. That team was great, too. Of course, they made the Super Bowl and just barely lost to Joe Montana and the 49ers, so that was an easy choice. Then my 4th spot, I went to Oscar Robertson. I had to do a little research here. So he's from Indianapolis, but he went to Cincinnati and then territorial draft, played for the Royals for many, many years, over a decade. And obviously, Oscar Robertson, just one of the iconic names in NBA history, won an MVP there, won a championship in Milwaukee with Alcindor, or he might have been Kareem at that point. But Oscar Robertson belongs on any Mount Olympus. That's a name that I feel very comfortable putting up on that mountain. All right, Mag, who do you got?
Okay, so you and I are going to be aligned on a couple. One, Johnny Bench, gotta be, still a sports god, still very much around in Cincinnati,
Yep.
and Hall of Famer, as you said, best catcher, and all 17 years in Cincinnati. I went with another Red, not Pete Rose, and I did not go with Joe Morgan. I think you left off somebody who is a sports god in Cincy because they are from Cincinnati, high school in Cincinnati, 19 years in Cincinnati, won a World Series for the Cincinnati Reds. It's Barry Larkin, guys. He's right in your face, and how dare you turn your back on him? You know, Barry Larkin, because he's from there, it's a Archbishop Moeller, I believe I'm pronouncing that right.
Oh, the football school.
Yes, it's like a famous high school from Ohio. And so Barry Larkin went there. And then again, all 19 years and the World Series championship and the Hall of Fame. Larkin is a sports god in Cincy. I also am with you on Anthony Munoz. He was like shorthand when I became an NFL fan. He was shorthand for best offensive lineman. Like, what do you think you are, Anthony Munoz? Like, he's the guy who was always the gold standard. 13 seasons, all with the Bengals. 9 of those years, he was first team All-Pro. Unreal.
That's not bad.
It's crazy. He was 33 years old making first-team All-Pro. Munoz is the man, a sports god in Cincy. And finally, and I don't even care if I'm accused of being a homer on this one, I'm going with our guy Boomer Esiason. Right down the hall, sports god of Cincinnati, a second-round pick who turns into an MVP. You mentioned going to the Super Bowl. You lose to Joe Montana. I mean, there's no shame in that. I mean, I'm sure it's still painful for Boomer, but you know, you lose to Montana, who never lost in a Super Bowl. And Boomer, to me, more than your guy Andy Dalton, obviously, who never had the playoff success.
Nope.
And then Joe Burrow, who has also been to the Super Bowl and lost, but has not been an MVP yet.
Yep. And Munoz was not an MVP. I'll give you that.
So the other part about Boomer, and just knowing him now and working next to him for all these years, is he's back and forth to Cincinnati all the time. He still goes there, like, once a month, maybe. It feels like it. He's always doing stuff in Cincinnati, charity things, stuff like that. So I think he's still very connected to the city. I know he's still very connected to the city. So I'm going to put Boomer as my fourth sports god of Cincinnati.
Is he the only, and maybe I'm missing somebody, he's the only Bengal to win an MVP, I would imagine?
I bet Burrow will win one, but I can't.
I don't think Burrow's won an MVP yet. So
no, he hasn't.
So that perfect. It's funny. I looked at the quarterbacks. I know Ken Anderson is quite a famous name in Cincinnati. Burrow and Boomer. I'm like, I don't want to choose between these guys. I'm going with the tackle. So I said Munoz.
Yeah.
If EJ is not here today, he definitely would have said shout out Chad Ochocinco, his favorite player of all time.
I was thinking Ochocinco.
TJ Hushmanzada.
And also, how about AJ Green was awesome for them,
amazing
but
player.
they didn't have any playoff success. They kept getting to the playoffs and they lose.
And well, AJ Green was kind of a quiet guy. Definitely not Carson Palmer because he left the city in a bad way. But I got to tell you, I want to go back to Barry Larkin for a second.
Go ahead.
Great player, all-time player, Hall of Famer. The guys, Morgan, Bench, and Rose are so iconic. In fact, that whole team, and we were talking about nicknames earlier, Big Red Machine. You're saying that Barry Larkin's more iconic in Cincinnati than Pete Rose?
Well, Pete Rose disgraced Cincinnati while also excelling in Cincinnati. So if you want to do we do the gods of the underworld on some of these Mount Olympuses, I think that Pete Rose belongs in the underworld. Like, I didn't put OJ on my LA one. Now, obviously, Pete Rose didn't murder anyone allegedly, but Pete Rose, I think there's too much negativity that got brought on there. Now, he's Cincinnati's guy. So you love Pete Rose and you live in Cincinnati. I'm not going to fault you for it. But if you bring as much shame as much glory onto an organization and onto yourself, I can't put you as a sports god. So to me, no, I put Barry Larkin, who, again, from Cincinnati, high school Cincinnati, and then all 19 years in Cincinnati and won a World Series and Hall of Fame. Sure.
Joe Morgan, by the way, who did not make it, 2 MVPs when the team was at their height, led the baseball in WAR 4 years during this Big Red Machine thing. Greatest
Larkin was an MVP too.
Yeah, but I mean, Joe Morgan Joe Morgan's on a different level of the Hall of Fame than Barry Larkin to me. Maybe not Cincinnati. You bring up good points, but Joe Morgan is super, super big in baseball. Ironically, because he's super short. But Joe Morgan, Pete Rose, and Johnny Bench to me are, I'm sorry, he's current Cincinnati. Joey Votto, great Red too. Tom Seaver had a little run there. I mean, there are a lot of famous Reds, but my fifth guy would have been Morgan, not Larkin. Interesting.
You know who I also thought about, but he's now coached in other places, but I thought like Bob Huggins in Cincinnati, I feel like at one point may have been
Huggy Bear?
Huggy Bear with the Bearcats. But again, now West Virginia, and he was there for so long, so I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking about Cincinnati basketball. The 2 names that came to mind were Nick Van Exel and Kenyon Martin. Too. But you can't. It's hard to do college guys because then they move on to pros and make impacts in other cities. But that was it. 93, the Bearcats made the Final Four. That was amazing.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. There you go. The 4 sports gods of Cincinnati. Bogusch, what did we get right or wrong? Got a thought?
Oh, Boomer. Of course you did, Boomer.
Listen.
Someone had to, just for preservation's sake.
You saying I'm playing politics?
I'm saying if we posted a graphic of 8 people and not one of them was Boomer from Cincinnati, some huge Norwegian man would have come storming through our door.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm the first one at that door, so I would have been taking bullets for you guys.
But I just want to make it very clear that Maggie and Perloff chose Boomer. I'm in on it. If we put a photo of Maggie's Mount Olympus in her face, put me with my arm around Maggie with that one.
I'm just saying, it's not a stretch. We know him personally, so you get we know what a good guy he is. But it's not a stretch to say he's the MVP and made a Super Bowl for the Bengals.
No, it's not. It is not a stretch.
Yeah.
No, he's on a lot of lists too.
Yes, of course.
So it was hard for me to keep him off. I actually have him on my Mount Rushmore of left-handed quarterbacks.
Definitely, and of boomers.
But back of envelope, let's go. Jim Zorn, Tua Tagovailoa, Dylan Gabriel, Boomer Esiason. Boom.
Wow.
Thank you.
There you go.
No Steve Young.
Oh, I was like, my brain's telling me you forgot something. You forgot something.
Dylan Gabriel.
Michael Vick.
Oh, Vic.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's funny. Tua was the first lefty quarterback to start in like a decade, because receivers can't catch the ball from a lefty. One of my favorite topics. We'll bring in Boomer
spin.
later on. Yeah, the spin is different.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
The Yankees, 1 for 2.
Who cares?
Busting droughts last night.
And here's the 2-0. Swung on a high drive. Right field. It's going to get out of here, and it's a home run for Jazz Chisholm. Kept it fair by a couple of feet.
And since he did keep it fair, the Yankees' scoreless drought ended at 30 innings.
Wonderful.
But they still haven't won a game.
This is loaded. 1 out. 2-0. Bouncing ball to Volpe. Bobbles. Throws away. Trying to get it to Peraza. Run scores. It's 3-2 Angels. Boy, that was a double play written all over.
There's nothing better than Susan Waldman under the breath comments. Anthony Volpe's error.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, she's great. It's like Greek chorus, happening in the broadcast.
Anthony Volpe's error allowing the deciding run to score the Angels a 3-2 win in the Bronx, extending the Yankee losing streak to 6.
They stink.
Right on their heels, though, are the Mets, who have dropped 5 in a row after a 5-0 loss in Atlanta.
Yeah, but at least you guys can score runs once in a while.
Not last night. The Rockies, a 3-1 win in Washington, so Colorado has its first 4-game win streak of the season, and the Nats have lost 11 in a row.
At least we're not those two teams.
And Mother Nature wasn't kind last night. The Reds got a rain-shortened 4-2 win over the Twins. They started 2 hours late, got into the 6th inning, and then the rain came back. They waited another 53 minutes before calling that one off for good. Meanwhile, Pirates, Tigers, Brewers, Cubs, and Cardinals, White Sox didn't play at all because of storms.
Sounds like the Midwest was hit hard by some rain yesterday.
And it's probably coming our way next.
Wonderful.
The NBA title is winnable tonight. The Thunder back in Indy for Game 6 with a 3-2 lead on the Pacers. Head coach Mark Daigneault trying to keep things simple for his guys.
Sam does a great job identifying the guys we think can help. We start the process of developing those guys, and
that's not what I wanted you to say. Moving on, the pregame.
What clip do you want?
It's a right guy. I don't know anymore. I don't know how that one got there. The pregame storyline remains Tyrese Haliburton strained right calf. He says he's doing everything to play, but Rick Carlisle said yesterday they have to prepare for Haliburton being unavailable.
Are you sure?
Me or him?
Are you sure that he said that?
That one he did say, yeah. I couldn't play the correct clip, but he did say that.
Don't worry. The second Mark Daigneault starts talking, everybody tunes out anyway, Bogusch.
It's true. Or doesn't even turn the TV on.
He's a bit boring.
We can't even say his last name correctly.
Oh, how do you pronounce it?
Well, so the NBA pronunciation says Daigneault. And then I was watching Tim McMahon on ESPN yesterday, and he was calling him like Dagenot.
Oh, well, hold on.
Dagenot?
Yeah, he
like
was
the
throwing
French
extra syllables in there.
Yeah.
Bonjour.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, Brian Daboll has been in our lives for what feels like a decade, and nobody knows how to pronounce his name. I say Daboll. Some people say Daboll. I don't even know how other people say it. It's pronounced Daboll, but yet you'll go down the hallway at WFAN, you'll hear his name pronounced completely different. Can we just have the correct pronunciation for these men?
I mean, Daigneault. It's a few more weird consonants next to each other than Brian Daboll.
Well, like Daigneault, if you look at it in French, would be like Daigneault or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a hockey player who was Daigneault. Spelled the same way.
Right.
Oui.
Adios.
But it's funny, I do hear people call him Daigneault.
I mean, that's the way it's spelled phonetically by the NBA. But then the guy on TV yesterday calling him Dagenot was a whole new wrinkle.
Well, I think
maybe he was just nervous if he was on TV.
I think he had a medical episode on.
I was going to say he had a stroke. This is not something we should be laughing at.
The Baltimore Ravens signed former Packers corner Jair Alexander.
I think that's pronounced Jair.
It's a 1-year deal that can apparently be worth as much as $6 million. One WNBA game last night, the Mercury extending their win streak to 83-75 in Connecticut. The Sun are now 2-10, extending the worst start in team history. And the Men's College World Series last night, LSU scored 3 times bottom 9 for a 6-5 win over Arkansas. So the Razorbacks are done. The Tigers now face Coastal Carolina in the best-of-3 championship series, which begins on Saturday. Those Chanticleers have won 26 games in a row.
Les Chanticleers.
Is that Japanese? What?
Les Chanticleers.
Do you know what a Chanticleer is?
A chicken.
A bird. I
The
don't
chicken,
know.
right, yeah.
Given, yeah, it's like a green chicken.
I think we all have to be Chanticleer fans, right? Over
Yeah,
LSU, they just won. So LSU,
Right. Is Coastal Carolina like a Villanova beating Georgetown? What's the vibe here?
No, that would have been Murray State. This is like Butler kind of making the
two in a row, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like there's a very, very good high mid-major program. They play in the Sun Belt, so they're not an SEC powerhouse, but they're a legitimate. They're ranked. They won this, I think, 6 or 7 years ago. Like they're legit program.
Do you remember when Zach Wilson and BYU went head-to-head with Grayson McCall on national TV, and the Jets decided to take him number 2 because he looked good in that game?
No, the Jets took him number 2 because he had a really good rollout to his right at a pro day. And that's the Jets for you.
And moms dig him.
That worked out for the Jetropolitans.
Yeah, I think that they all just wanted to meet his mom.
I got to tell you.
Understandable.
I'm into Zach Wilson.
As the backup?
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
She said that more than anyone in the NFL said that.
Good point.
Dump.
I'm into he's going to be good as a backup. I'm telling you right now.
Well, he's going to play.
I'm telling you right now.
No, he's going to play. He's backing up Tua.
He's backing up Tua, and he's a former Jets quarterback, and I've crunched the numbers. You increase by 60% the second you leave that building. He's going to be good.
Let me see that equation, please.
Did you think Sam Darnold was going to be good again? Did you think Geno Smith, when he left the Jets, was going to be good? No.
Well, they both had some other stops before they got good again. Like
Well,
Sam
so
Darnold
did
went
Zach.
to Carolina, and I guess so.
A year of Sean Payton learning how to play the game. Couldn't make second team. A
I was
little
going
bit
to
of an
say, he
issue.
couldn't find his way down the field.
But Zach Wilson can spin it. By the way, Zach Wilson was just as good as Aaron Rodgers with the Jets. Had the same record, for God's sake.
Better record.
That's not true.
Better record.
Well, is it?
Yeah, better record.
I'm kind of with Perloff here.
So Zach Wilson had that, well, not all the years, but the last year he started when Rodgers tore the Achilles.
Yeah,
he went
let's-
7-10. Rodgers won 5 games.
What about the
Aha,
actual numbers,
folks.
though? Yards and touchdowns.
Not good.
Okay, that's my point.
So what numbers are you referring to?
Dude's
Maybe
got an
Wilson's
arm.
body count? I a little higher than all of that.
Maybe Aaron Rodgers has
Sorry,
that
just at
number
a
up there, too.
PTA meeting.
Maggie.
What? It's the facts. Well, it's actually an allegation. It's not facts at all. Zip, I want to take that back.
The fact that you were at a PTA
Wait.
meeting? Or
Yes,
I
we
love
talk
that-
about Zach Wilson all the time at the PTA.
Just in case anyone forgot, we started with the College World Series, then we got to Zach Wilson sleeping with older ladies.
Yeah.
And there was a clear line.
That I crossed.
Yeah. I'm the one who said I'm into him.
You said it, though, but Maggie, being the habitual line stepper that she is, she just had to go right for it.
Well, do you guys want to know what we talk about at the PTA, or do you not want to know? Don't answer that. Okay, Bogusch, thank you. Lots more to do. What do we get right and what we get wrong on the Mount Olympus of 4 sports gods from Cincinnati? We also have one SEC quarterback is speaking out, and another reportedly turned down a bag full of money because of loyalty. Get to those stories next. It's M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
At the plate and a tipsy.
Hello, American High, where Perloff was a nerd. Ernest was the football star, always being heard. But forget about the past, let's get to Pete, the guy who skips work like it's a track meet. Or is Pendleton, thought you were the king, but Perloff's the one who's doing his thing. It's weekend of kings. Let's talk about Pete, who never shows
1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Oh, okay. I get this. This portion of the show is sponsored by Hyundai, the all-new, all-electric Hyundai help me out, Meg. Ioniq 9.
The Ioniq, our fave.
Space up for up to 7, range for miles. I see these on the street in Brooklyn all the time. They're really cool. I want one, Maggie. But first, we have to get to the Mount Olympus of Cincinnati. Four sports gods from Cincinnati. I'm feeling really good about my group here, Maggie. I went with Pete Rose, Johnny Bench, Anthony Munoz, and Oscar Robertson.
I also went with Johnny Bench and Anthony Munoz, but I went with Barry Larkin and Boomer Esiason. You know, you're really good at doing the gods of the underworld, like the anti-Mount the anti-Mount Olympus. See, that's where I think Pete Rose.
Oh, come
goes.
on! I don't think in Cincinnati they view him that way. I'll tell you right now, in Philadelphia, he's definitely a sports god. He didn't get caught there, but people could care less that he cheated. He helped them win the World Series.
Quick poll update. Perloff in the lead, 74% to 26%.
You think that's because you put Pete Rose on and I didn't?
Well, Barry Larkin, he's an all-timer, and he's from Cincinnati, and that's great. But to me, the Big Red Machine is so iconic.
I put Johnny Bench on there. See,
Did he sort of symbolize all three for you?
I guess so. I mean, I wasn't going to put Rose on because I think if you bring shame along with glory, I think it's a little too much of both. But Larkin, who, again, from Cincinnati, high school in Cincinnati, and then played all 19 years there, won an MVP, won a World Series. Like, what else do you have to do to be a sports god in a place?
Well, actually, I'm trying to remember. I feel like Eric Davis was the best player on that team, right? That was the Eric Davis team. One thing, can we not forget Dave Concepcion, Tony Perez, Hall of Famer. They had Ken Griffey.
I saw Ken Griffey, Ken Griffey Jr.
Jr. was a disappointment there, but Ken Griffey was amazing.
Right. So we were talking about the Big Red Machine, but here's the thing about Ken Griffey Jr. Like Larkin, Cincinnati high school student. Grew up in Cincinnati. So I actually did see Jr. on some of these lists, but for my Mount Olympus, couldn't do it.
What an infield, by the way. Like, they just don't build teams like this. You had Perez at first, Joe Morgan at second, Dave Concepcion at shortstop, and P. Rose at third. Rose moved around.
Yeah.
And Johnny Bench at catcher. Beat that, Maggie.
Can't. Chris is in Vancouver. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hey, good. Yourself?
Doing great. You got a problem with our Mount Olympus of Cincinnati?
I got a little bit of a problem. You know who we forgot yesterday in Seattle, and it's driving me crazy, and I had to call back because of this? Former world number one, won a Masters, Fred Couples. That guy is the coolest cat in all of sport.
I don't think even Fred Couples was necessarily put him on the Mount Olympus, though. You think?
He's a big deal, Fred Couple. I mean, we had Phil Mickelson on for San Diego. He was on my Mount Olympus, and we could have put Jack Nicklaus on for Cleveland, right?
Yeah. So anyways, I thought I had to mention that. But regarding Cincinnati, I'm doing a Cincinnati Reds sweep. I am going with 2013 Brazil's manager Barry Larkin. I'm also going with Pete Rose. You got to put Pete Rose in. I don't know why you're hesitant about putting Pete Rose in.
I don't know, maybe a gambling scandal that was just a huge black mark on him, the sport. No? Okay, yeah, continue.
Thank you, Bart Giamatti.
Gambling's hot right now. And and also what else? Johnny Bench. And I'm going with I'm a homer. I'm from Vancouver, Canada. I got to go with my boy Joey Votto. He is one of two Cincinnati Reds to have, and I carried for these stats. He's got 300 homers plus, 1,000 plus RBIs, and 2,000 hits. Him and Johnny Bench are the only two to do that.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah,
another
all I got.
all-time. It's funny about the Cincinnati guys. Chris, great call, by the way, and Fred Couples duly noted about Seattle. All the guys on these lists played their whole careers, the ones on my list, whole careers in Cincinnati. Because that's been a tough thing about this exercise, Pearl. Mm-hmm. Like I had Marshawn Lynch on my Mount Olympus of Seattle yesterday, but he only played there for 5 years. You know, I realized it was a short spurt. These Cincinnati guys, except for Boomer, who's on my list, Esiason, who played other places, they're all Cincinnati the whole dang time.
Wait, so Bench, no other
Barry
team.
Larkin, and Anthony Munoz.
Wow, that is interesting because obviously Pete Rose played a lot of places. Morgan didn't even start, and he was at Astro at first, right? And then Munoz? Wow, Oscar Robertson also wanted to tell us, man, you got me on that one. But Pete Rose was there for 19 years. As a player. That's a long
and I love
time.
you actually brought up the manager stuff. It's like, that's the black
Yeah,
mark.
but he was a really good manager.
By the way, very quickly, Joey Votto didn't play there, but signed his national letter of intent to play baseball at Coastal Carolina.
Oh, my God.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait,
Chanticleers.
oh,
Look
he
at
never
that.
played there?
Yeah, callback. How about that?
Dominic is in San Francisco. Dominic, your Mount Olympus of Cincinnati. Who you got?
I think I've got. I was messing with the dog again. I think I got the same as Mr. Perloff. I've got Munoz, I've got Bench, I've got Pete Rose, and then I've got Oscar Robertson.
Listen, Oscar Robertson is a great choice, Dom. Thank you.
You probably never saw him play.
No.
He was like the precursor to Pete Maravich.
But in what sense?
The way he handled the ball, not as flamboyant as Maravich. I've also got the definitive answer for the music group.
Oh, who's the best music group from Cincinnati? Who do you got?
I went for the whole state, and I've got the Ohio Players.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one because they got the name Ohio in there.
I mean, Dominic, big miss. How you didn't go with the Ass Ponies, I just don't know. I mean, we've been going through their catalog all morning long, but that's just Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's funny because that was definitely part of this music scene I follow. Like you're laughing like this, they're not a novelty band at all. Ironically, they're very straightforward indie rock.
I know. I just think it's funny when you decide, you know what we're going to call ourselves? Like, I'd love to know how they even came up with that name.
And let me tell you something about the Ohio Players. Just a quick Google search, and I'm a big fan of their album covers.
Manny.
But they have it.
Some fine-looking women.
They have a few songs you would know. That was that whole era of music is unbelievable. Like late 60s, early 70s, insane.
Meanwhile, Bootsy Collins should be good enough Cincinnati artist to just put this whole thing to rest. Manny, have you gone through more of his
But I got
songs?
Ohio Players are from Dayton, which we'll give them.
I'm too busy looking at the covers of the Ohio Players. This is fun.
And we've lost Manny.
Huh?
All right, coming up, we have big news yesterday that the Los Angeles Lakers have been sold. Will it mean more prosperity for Luka Doncic and LeBron James? Get to that. It's Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
If you're wondering what $10 billion gets you, the Lakers. Reports they're sold yesterday. Jeannie Buss cashing out, selling the Lakers to the owners of the LA Dodgers. Pearl, good morning. And I think the immediate question is, do we actually see any meaningful changes while LeBron James and Luka Doncic are still teammates?
I mean, you might not have much time. Yeah. LeBron ain't young, Maggie. I know he's your guy, but you better do something quickly. And I just don't know if they have the flexibility, no matter how much money they have.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. They're talking about the type of upgrades that the owners of the Dodgers, Mark Walter is the guy who's going to be the name you keep hearing over and over again. What can they do? Because the Lakers spend on salary. They do. They spend on Kobe. They spend on LeBron. They spend on Anthony Davis. No one can ever accuse them of cutting corners when it comes to stars. But when it comes to coaches, when it comes to analytics, when it comes to scouting, some of the other things that don't count against your cap, that's where the Lakers maybe weren't as robust spenders as other NBA franchises. Can you get more of that type of talent in the building in a short enough time where you could actually see an impact and upgrade of the roster? Because there are going to be questions about, do you trade Austin Reeves? Are you trading Hachimura? What's going to be the return you're getting? You do want to upgrade the roster in some ways. So who's making those decisions?
Yeah, I mean, again, though, there's not that many moves you can make. You have to hope for a kind of a miracle. To me, I think you need a lot of help for the Lakers to get over the top in the West. I don't think you need a journeyman center. I think you need another star because LeBron, his minutes are just going to go down. When Luka is the primary guy, you're just basically recreating the Mavericks. I know they made the finals, but were they even close to a title? Not that close. Here's the thing. There's a lot of, look at the NBA champions. Do any of them have rich owners? I know the Nuggets, I just looked it up, are owned by Kroenke Sports, but they famously decided we have no interest in paying the luxury tax and got rid of all their players. So I don't think money buys you anything in the NBA, does it?
Well, that's a great point. I mean, that's Walmart, right? Is the Kroenke money
right? But they didn't
them?
Want to even spend on that team. They refused to go to whatever the last apron was, and lost all their bench.
Yeah, listen, I think the NBA is weird. Like, I wouldn't just assume that just because you're a great baseball owner, that means you're a great basketball owner, because to your point, it's very different. You get into that first apron, second apron in basketball, you now can't make certain trades. You're restricted in all these other types of places. You're the Dodgers. You signed Tyler Glass now, and he is injured all the time. Well, just sign somebody else. It's not. You're not going to get
then defer the money.
You can't get handcuffed by it. You're not going to. It's not going to tank you. It's not going to be like, oh, how do we unload this guy? It's nothing like that. You can just spend and spend and spend and spend.
But the Mets have had that problem in the past. The Yankees have had that problem in the past.
But again, it's only just, do you want to spend money to get yourself out of a jam? It's not getting. It's not like you can't make a trade because you've hit the Cohen tax or whatever they call it for, after the owner of the Mets, like they do in basketball. This is a new world in basketball where you got to be a lot more savvy. But here's the deal: I think that having these more robust analytics departments and things like that maybe helps identify the better talent while also keeping yourself, flexible.
Yeah, I have trouble buying that. I mean, I just don't think there are enough moves you can make in basketball to outthink the rest of the league. Again, maybe I'm old school, but hey, you know what the most important ball in basketball is that ping pong ball. Mm-hmm. I mean, Dallas, what were the analytics that got them getting Cooper Flag?
2%, right?
Yeah.
2% chance.
Yeah, that's not an analytic. What are the analytics that got Victor Wembanyama to San Antonio? Maybe there was some shenanigans going on, but generally, I just don't see. There are only 5 guys. Are you really going to be able to do all these moves? I doubt it.
Well, then you're kind of talking about, we're talking about the Los Angeles Lakers were sold yesterday, or the report came out they're being sold to one of their minority owners, Mark Walter, for $10 billion. By the way, that's not the stadium. Like, that's not the arena either. But what you're really talking about, Pearl, is this crossroads it kind of seems like the NBA is at right now, which was the super teams and putting superstars together. Is that the way to win the title versus the team building? And if you look at the 2 teams in the finals tonight, game 6, OKC, Indiana, you would say, well, this is more about team building. It's not about just putting stars together. But here's the Lakers where Luka Doncic falls out of the sky and you still have LeBron James being effective. So is it worth it to do the superstar thing for them? Because you don't have time. If you're trying to maximize the end of LeBron's career, you don't have time to build this thing from scratch.
Isn't the issue you can't get 3 real superstars anymore because of the financial structure? Which, hey, if I'm the NBA, I'm pulling back and saying we need some dynasties here fast. That might be a problem. And if OKC is your dynasty, it's not the most entertaining form of basketball. Maybe they should pull back the financial structure and stop. They will not do this, but stop making it so hard to build a super team. Adam Silver was on there bragging about how, hey, we evened out the playing field. Don't you love it? And obviously the fans do not. There's nothing like the casual fan wants to see a dynasty, I think.
Right. Well, you might get it with OKC because they're going to sign Shea, they're going to sign Jalen Williams, and they're going to sign Jet Holmgren. So this is going to be, the 3 stars making a lot of money.
I don't know.
They're just young stars.
I just don't feel like they quite feel like a young dynasty. Are you getting that vibe? I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if there was another champion next year. I would have said last year when Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown won the title, I'm like, oh, they're going to repeat. No one's going to beat this team. And something always seems to happen.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. And just an offshoot of this Lakers conversation with them being sold for $10 billion. So Lakers obviously in a rare tier. Lakers, Cowboys, New York Yankees, the North American sports franchises that we think would get this type of money. I think the Yankees are the next to sell. And I'm not just grouping them with that 3. I think they're the next family-owned. Now, maybe it's, Gail Benson and the New Orleans Saints, which we had a caller from New Orleans say that earlier. She's looking to sell before she, passes away. She's, 78, was it, Manny? So it's not going anywhere. But I understand getting your finances in order. I think the Yankees are the next ones. That's going to be a ripple like this, where it's front page news when a team gets sold.
Yeah, I'd say that expect him. I don't know. Why would you sell the Yankees? I don't quite understand. I don't really understand why Jeannie Buss sold the Lakers either. What's she going to do with the money?
Whatever she
Does
wants.
She have tons
it's
of money?
$10 billion.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't understand sometimes when old people are really into making more money because you're going to die with $6 billion in the bank. What fun is that? I'd rather own the Lakers.
Well, what if she wants to retire? That's the thing. You might not want to work anymore.
Well, isn't it thing in sports? Can't you just sell 30% of the team to some hedge fund? And
they already did that.
Yeah. So what did that? Where's that money go?
Well, that's why I wonder, does she know something, or maybe her, Mark Cuban, Wyc Grousbeck, who owns the Celtics, all 3 of them now have sold in the last 18 months. Do they feel like, hey, no one's going to drop a $10 billion offer onto my lap? If I don't strike now, I might be regretting it. I don't know.
What's the difference? She's already got hundreds of millions in the bank. To me, if I was Jeannie Buss, and maybe there's other reasons, I would just hold on to the team. And you are leaving money in the bank. I want to spend it all. I want the Philadelphia Phillies.
Okay, well, we'll start working on that for you. Do you remember, this is a couple weeks ago, a story came out about Jeannie Buss and Jay Moore, right? Famous Jay Moore.
Yep.
Did sports talk radio, stand-up, movie star, the whole deal.
SNL.
Jay's hilarious. So they're married. And do you remember Jay, I think, was the one who told the story on a podcast about how he and Jeannie sleep on different floors of the building that they live in?
Yep.
Right. And so she sleeps on the top floor. She sort of lives on the top floor, and he lives on the floor. And then there's someone who lives in the middle. Did you remember that detail of the story?
Yeah.
If you have billions of dollars, why do you have a roommate? Who's the person in the middle who's the cream filling in this Oreo cookie? Why do you need a middle person who's presumably paying rent?
I don't know.
You're like, what could they do with
hard times, y'all.
$10 billion? You're like,
buy out
I
the
don't
middle
know.
floor.
I was going to say, buy out the middle floor. Kick out your tenant. Anyway, I thought about that.
I have no idea. Yeah.
Wasn't that a weird detail of that story? Who's in the middle?
I don't know.
LeBron.
I was going to say Gabe Vincent. Who are they renting this out to?
Bronny James.
Let's go to Andy, who's in Michigan, wants to talk about the Mount Olympus of Maggie and Perloff today, the 4 sports gods of Cincinnati. And we'll just recap for you. I had Johnny Bench, Barry Larkin, our very own Boomer Esiason down the hall, and Anthony Munoz. Go ahead, Pearl.
I also went with Munoz and Johnny Bench. I added Pete Rose and Oscar Robertson.
Andy, what did we get wrong?
Okay, so I think the first 3 of Perloff's were spot on. Rose, Bench, and Munoz. I mean, those are without question. Now, Maggie, Barry Larkin, weren't you just talking about the Hall of Pretty Good? Barry Larkin was pretty good.
He's from Cincinnati, though. Went to high school there all 19 years, won an MVP there, won a World Series there. Andy, are you not entertained?
And that's great and all, but he was just pretty good. I mean, if you're going to go with pretty good, why don't you go like Eric Davis?
Yeah, see, Eric Davis, but he was spectacular. I think when he was at his peak with that low batting stance, a huge fan.
Yeah, I mean, he had what? He passed Willie Mays and somebody else for the 2020, the stolen bases and
20 stolen bases, 20 home runs. I mean, if you're going to go pretty good, I would go Eric Davis over Barry Larkin in a heartbeat.
Okay, well, never won an MVP, let alone for his hometown team. We're talking about sports gods of their cities.
Series.
So did Barry. They're on the same team.
I know. I'm just saying. Like,
What about Andy?
I just say
the one
Larkin was pretty good. Eric Davis is better.
The one that killed me was look at Joe Morgan's stats. I'm like, oh my God, because no second baseman on earth could hit, and Joe Morgan was raking, gave the Reds a huge advantage.
True. Now, one more thing I wanted to say before you cut me off. Perloff, you said something one of the opening hours about anybody can play first base. That is such bull crap.
Yeah, thank you, Andy.
You put people in the outfield if they don't know how to play.
Oh, like when you have to,
know what?
you have to wait for the pitcher.
90% of the time, if you have 90% of the time, if you have a decent pitcher, all the stuff is going on in the infield. Yeah. So, and guess what? That third base throw, he's going to bobble it, and then he's going to throw it way over your head. And guess what? Everything is going to be your fault. If you don't catch that ball, everything is your fault. Trust me, I played first base. It sucks.
You wouldn't imagine the pressure, Perloff.
If you don't backhand that right, if you don't cover first right, no, first base is not the easiest position in the entire baseball diamond.
Tell him, Andy. Thank you. And this goes back to our Rafael Devers conversation. Appreciate the phone call about how Devers should have just been like, sure, I'll play wherever you want. Yeah. He's getting a lot of criticism. Well, moving from third to first is not that easy.
Well, right. But obviously in the history of baseball, the old guy goes to first base. That's what happens because when a pitcher you have to keep the pitcher out there. They move him to center field and then bring him back to the mound. So he is right. The outfield is a bit irrelevant too. But you can't say, how many guys got old and moved to first base? That's a thing that's been around forever. So because you don't have to throw, for one. You don't have to have any kind of arm at all.
Yeah, but also now with the DH in the National League, you don't have to make that kind of calculus anymore.
Well, yeah, except it's like a second DH in a way.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Okay, so the Mount Olympus is Cincinnati on the table for you, the four sports gods of Cincy. We also have the Lakers being sold. Coming up next, we'll talk about Lamar Jackson. What did he have to say about this upcoming season? And somebody's looking for more money. Get to that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. Cincinnati, Mount Olympus. I'm killing it with this one.
Yeah, you are, buddy.
Johnny Bench, Pete Rose, Anthony Munoz, Oscar Robinson. Top that, Maggie.
I tried with Johnny Bench and Anthony Munoz, but I also put Barry Larkin and Boomer Esiason on my Mount Olympus.
And what does that yield you guys? A 77.3 advantage for Perloff over Maggie's 22.7.
Yeah. Wait, did we get poll results from yesterday, by the way? Who won Seattle?
Don't ask me.
Oh, no. We'll see.
No, I lost Seattle.
Did you?
Yeah, because I put one that I made a mistake on.
What was that?
You won. Pull up Seattle. Oh, because you put Marshawn. I put Russell Wilson. Nobody likes Russell Wilson, so they all voted for your.
Yeah, no, I won yesterday. 59% to 41%
Yeah,
Bogusch.
and that was purely because people like Marshawn more than they like Russell Wilson.
I mean, come on. You get a guy talking about quesadillas.
Yeah. No, that was a popularity contest. I understand. I was going from a pure sports angle.
Well, listen, when the producer drops a bunch of Brooklyn Nine-Nine clips of Marshawn Lynch's guest appearance, it probably swayed the voters.
It may have. Let's get to Bogusch, who's got headlines for us. What's up?
Guys, the Oklahoma City Thunder definitely came from Seattle, but neither the Elias Sports Bureau nor the Library of Congress have decided if the Thunder are actually ending the franchise's 46-year title drought. Hopefully, we'll know by the end of Game 6 in Indy tonight. Yesterday, Thunder head coach Marc Daigneault said, "C'est la vie."
We want to win the game tomorrow, but the most important thing we need to do to win the game tomorrow is prepare today and prepare tomorrow, and then play the first possession really well, and then the next possession, and then the next possession, and that's how we try to approach a game.
Helping their cause in some fashion is Tyrese Haliburton, right calf strain. The Pacers guard doing all possible to be on the floor tonight.
There's been many situations through the course of my career where they've trusted me on my body, and I'm questionable from time to time throughout the course of the season, and they trust me to make the right decision on my body when the power is in my hands, and I'm going to try my best to do that. But I mean, you understand. I want to be out there, and that's the plan.
That's 18 seconds of one voice. That might be a record.
Listen, it was one voice, but let me tell you something. Hi, I'm Tyrese Haliburton, and I did not drop my voice a bunch of octanes because I know I have two different voices.
Some high octanes there.
It's not a gasoline.
Whatever, bro. You understood me.
Can I say one thing, by the way? The Pacers have the weirdest group of
Yeah.
last names of any team ever. Like,
Oh,
I've never
come
heard Nemhart, Haliburton, Furphy. Like, who are...
Well, Furphy doesn't play enough to be in this conversation.
But have you ever heard of another Haliburton besides the company?
McConnell.
McConnell. Well, McConnell's common. Matherin. Do you know any other Matherins?
Apparently today's his birthday. Huh, that stinks. 23rd birthday and you're going to get eliminated in the NBA Finals? That's unfortunate.
When you think of the Furfies.
Yeah. No, every time he comes on, I can't get past the name.
I don't think of someone who
haircut and
looks
the
like
name.
him. Yeah. It's like his hair's kind of fluffy,
What do
too,
you
so it's
think of-
kind of furfy.
What?
I don't know.
He looks like a modern-day Steve Alford.
Yeah.
Got the feather going.
It seems like something that'd be like a sitcom in like the 90s or something. The Furfies, they're like a bunch of mole people that live amongst regular people. I don't know.
It's also one like syllable away from the word for people that love like
Furbies?
Yeah,
That's what I'm
costumes.
thinking of. Oh, no, those are furries.
Furries? Okay.
Yeah. There was something that was going actually this ties in with basketball. Wasn't there a furry convention that was happening when a basketball team was in town to play?
I
like
Maybe
in this series.
in your fantasy.
Yes, you think that's my fantasy.
Well, I mean, mascots usually have big feet, so that is your
That's
target
my
audience.
brethren.
Oh boy.
No, I mean, yeah, that would be my target audience.
I do have a vague recollection of a similar thing.
NBA players have big feet too. I got a theme
Because
going
they're
on.
6'11".
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maggie
I'm only
is not.
5'7".
And a lady.
Well, that's debatable. I have these new shoes that I got as a birthday gift. Like
Size 15.
Jet skis.
Actually, I'm like Shedeur Sanders. I get pulled over going 100 miles an hour on these bad boys. Just
Yacht Wars on your feet right there.
Yes, I can fit a family of 5 just in these boat shoes. They make my feet look really big. But
Already?
well, bigger.
Mm.
I'm still wearing them. I still like them, but
Even though you look like Ronald McDonald?
you just hear me coming like down the hall.
I can hear you from Jersey.
Clackety clack.
It gets dark too because you're blocking out the sun as
Yeah.
you pick up the feet.
Is that an eclipse? No, it's just Maggie Gray walking by.
Different Will Smith. Same wild, wild west.
Now the 0-2 pitch.
Nicely done.
Smith pushes a fly ball right center field. Tatis on the run at the warning track, at the wall. It is gone! It's gone! And this game is over!
That's Steven Nelson on Dodgers radio.
I like his
Will
work.
Smith, a game-ending pinch hit solo homer. Dodgers 4, Padres 3. LA goes for a 4-game sweep today, and they confirmed post-game Shohei Ohtani starts again on Sunday. The Guardians, a 4-2 win last night in San Francisco. That was Justin Verlander's first start in a month, back from a right pec strain. He went 4 2/3, allowed 4 runs on 7 hits, a walk, and 6 Ks. The Braves sent the Mets to their 5th straight loss, 5-0. Chris Sale, 8 2/3, 7 Ks in that one. Houston roughed up the A's 11-4. The Royals, a 6-3 win in Texas. And the Rays outscored the Orioles 12-8 after spotting them the first 8 runs of that game, all in the top of the second. This is the largest comeback in the majors this
How do you
season.
give up 12 unanswered?
I don't know. Bad
Awful.
pitches.
That's awful. They stink. The Orioles stink. The AL East is awful.
I
digress.
disagree based on seeing the Rays this past weekend.
Well,
And the Blue Jays are hot.
And the Red Sox are hot.
no, the division still stinks.
Yankees stink.
The Yankees are awful.
Checks
Don't-
notes. They lost again last night.
They did, yes.
Well, maybe they'll sell the team now. Now that the Lakers got $10 billion, maybe now Hal Steinbrenner will be like, you know what? Could be time to cash out.
And that would be Maggie Gray's best take of 2025.
This Drought Buster's still alive.
Mm-hmm. Sure. You need the Yankees to win the World Series for that one.
That's true. So weirdly, maybe you win a title and then sell?
What was it? 09 is the drought?
2009, yes.
But if you talk to Yankee fans, it's 1909.
Yeah, that's true.
That is correct. I am starving.
Well, you made it to the World Series last year. You just embarrassed yourselves.
Yeah, and thanks for the reminder, Max.
Wait, and how old are you again?
I just turned 28 years old.
So you don't even know the late 90s Yankees.
I wasn't around for 98, 99, 2000. I was around for 03. I was around for 09. I was around for the 2004 collapse. I don't know what it's like to be a Yankee fan that wins.
Right, so your Yankee life is actually more pain than not.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no sympathy still for you, but that is...
I don't have sympathy for myself either.
Man, didn't watch the 1998 Yankees is something I just can't get my head around. But anyways, go ahead.
I was defecating all over myself at that age, so... Kind of like the Yankees last
and you're
night.
gonna
like
do
now.
it this weekend. So what's the difference?
Yeah, I am, buddy.
I know. Manny's on his way to the Finger Lakes of upstate New York for the weekend.
Well, just give out the address as well. You don't tell everybody on the air when you're going to Mexico. You don't tell your AP, but you go ahead and just tell the entire world.
I didn't
all
say
across
which
North America.
lake.
How many Finger Lakes are there?
It's like 100.
Yeah, so come on.
You're good.
And who's gonna come find you?
Bob and Ithaca.
Maybe it'd be Janice and Ithaca, and then you'd be happy.
Oh, yeah, Janice and Ithaca. What are Janice and Ithaca and I going to have in common?
If I may,
you guys
Manny,
watch Hobart yesterday?
I really want you to find a female companion.
I'm not going to find...
Not named Janice from
Oh,
Ithaca.
Come on.
I'm going to paint with a broad brush. Don't
How
go
about
down that
this?
road.
We're trying to find Manny a girlfriend. You're in the Finger Lakes this weekend. Why not go to a winery? Chicks love that.
Because my college friends don't drink wine. We're going to drink beer and whiskey.
Well, I'm not saying you have to hang out there, but you could do an hour.
Listen, I'm not calling myself a sommelier, but I will go ahead and indulge in some red vino, some white vino. I'm partial to the vino. My friends are not. That's the issue.
Wait, it's a bunch of college dude friends from...
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you guys decide, hey, let's go to a winery, just drive past that and drive into the Finger Lake, because that'd be the lamest college guy activity of all time.
What's the deepest Finger Lake?
Yeah. If I got together with my college buddies and we decided, let's go to a vineyard, just be like, it's over. Just
Wait a
forget
minute.
it. Just go home.
Do you want to meet women or not? You got to go where they are so they can smell you, like Big
First of all,
Friendly said.
I want them to smell the wine.
Yeah.
None of us want to meet the kind of women who are looking for men at a vineyard. We want to go to a honky tonk, like a bar. Like a
honky tonk.
I don't know.
In Ithaca, New York?
There might be some validity to Maggie's
actually, there might
advice.
be.
I'm also going to be probably like 90 minutes away from Ithaca.
Dive bar. I meant to say dive bar.
Yeah.
For some reason, honky tonk. Yes. Manny is more the dive bar type, not the wine place.
Yeah, but a nice Saturday afternoon, you get drunk pretty quickly at a winery. That's
because you've been
maybe that's-
married forever.
No. Maybe that's not a terrible suggestion
It
for
is
Maggie.
terrible. As a single man who goes to a wine, no, that's a horrible idea.
I'm just saying the women there have been drinking for a little bit.
Right.
They're probably wearing something nice, so they're feeling good about themselves.
Oh, jeez.
And then you come in
I got a
smelling
better
like, what
idea.
did Big Friendly say? Eternity by Calvin
mahogany.
Klein. Yeah. What leather-bound books. Swoop them up.
Like it's one thing if we're going to Napa. We're going to the middle of New York.
Well, it's not exactly toilet water. Big Friendly said he's got more hits than Pete Rose. That could be you.
Not on your Mount Olympus, though.
I have a new rule.
Where's
for
he
you,
from?
man. You take Maggie's advice on how to find women and do the opposite every time. I don't want a woman who dressed up nice to go to a wine bar, whatever this was. I want a woman who can't even see straight at 2 a.m. That's your best shot.
How about 2 in the afternoon?
Yeah.
I give you can't see straight 2 in the afternoon.
I don't get the wine. Who's driving to these things? Who I always wonder.
Uber.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Or you got to get one of those like party bus things.
Yeah,
we made that
not
mistake.
you.
one
Yeah, I
time.
always wondered because we went to lunch at a wine place and the guy ahead of us was driving up the driveway, drove straight into the grate. I'm like, oh, okay. That's what's going on here.
That's awful.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I wouldn't either.
I didn't.
No, you gotta.
No, I didn't like the whole vibe. I'm like, oh God, these people are so fake fancy. I think the whole wine tasting thing, sham. I'll say that right now.
Wait,
Think
you
people-
don't smell notes of tangerine?
Yeah, I think people are all making that up.
Are you swishing it and spitting it out in the spittoon?
I don't do that because I don't drink, but I'm telling you, I've always thought that wine connoisseurs are the world's biggest fakes.
Yes, but go in and drink like 5
You're
little
like,
glasses of wine. No, but like that's not who I'm sending Manny to. I'm sending Manny and Maggie to the female version of Manny and his friends.
Yeah.
We're out having a good time, and all of a sudden you've had 6 samples. You're like, whoa,
Okay.
Manny's cute.
College girls
6
trip,
samples?
definitely going to a winery.
Yeah.
Maybe not the guys trip, but you swing by around 4 o'clock in the afternoon right before they close, and you're going to be in good shape, dude.
How hideous am I that it needs 6 drinks in?
It's not
Next
that.
question.
Must be in radio. That guy must be in radio. He's 6 drinks in, he finally looks good.
But what's funny about this is Perloff is saying that you think the whole wine industry is a sham. Like they're serving Franzia back there and claiming that it's like Beaujolais.
Yeah, there's this famous experiment where they they gave 10 of the biggest wine experts in the world 1 cup of fancy wine and 1 cup of Charles Shaw from Trader Joe's, and they all picked Charles Shaw.
Yeah.
Oh, but that $2 chuck is supposed to be really good. I think it's like arsenic, but it's supposed to taste okay.
It's a fake. It's something to impress ladies. It's not real.
And this is where Manny comes in.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Manny. But get an Uber.
I'm going to take you under my wing. Have you seen my wife and you've seen me? Trust me. I know more than these guys.
Well, that's a break even. You've seen him. You've seen his wife. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you've
exactly.
outkicked your coverage big time. No. Sarah's a
yeah, I know.
beautiful.
Because I had moves out there in the field. I had game. Maggie, you're trying to find. I don't know
into
what
the
you're-
hole.
I don't know what
the
you're
rack.
advising him on.
Yeah, I want to see this guy's moves. Probably crossover behind the back, hezzy, tween.
This is why I was talking about
needed
Vince
moves.
Carter. He's the dunker of New York City nightlife.
The thing is, I needed moves. I couldn't just put this mug out on on Tinder and get a bunch of dates. I needed game.
And it didn't involve alcohol.
It was primarily around alcohol, but not wine. Not wine.
All right. Well, I think we solved that.
Beer and whiskey. All right.
Let's
Back to where we started.
Thank you, Bogusch. Let's get back to the sale of the Los Angeles Lakers, shall we? Anthony Irwin is a senior Lakers insider for ClutchPoints. He's the host of Lakers Lounge, which you can find on Odyssey Sports, and knows all things Lakers. So, Anthony, thanks so much for getting up early for us today and for joining us. On a scale of 1 to 10, how shocked were you when this news came through yesterday?
10 billion, I would say. No, it was certainly it was something that people were kind of whispering about over the last year or so, but you never really honestly believed it. Jeannie Buss has so much, and the Buss family has so much of their identities wrapped up in the Lakers that it was just impossible to fathom a world in which they didn't own the Lakers, or that they didn't run the Lakers. They're still going to own a chunk of them. I believe Dan Boyke of the LA Times put out that in order to continue working in any capacity, as Jeannie Buss is hoping to, she has to, or the Lakers the Buss Trust has to own at least 15% of them. So it looks like they sold just enough to make Guggenheim the primary owner, but enough to also continue on in some capacity.
Anthony, any guess as to why now for Jeannie Buss?
Well, I think one thing is that the Buss family can't pass it down from heir to heir. It's not the kind of thing that eventually can just become one of the Buss kids' things. So I think some of the older siblings have been kind of pushing for this behind the scenes for a while. Jim Buss, attempted that coup, and Johnny attempted that coup a few years ago when Jeannie first took over. They have been pushing for a sale now for a while. Johnny literally ran for president last year. I don't know if that kind of flew under the radar.
Didn't make my timeline.
I don't think he got too much public funding on that front. So I would imagine he was kind of looking for it. But as far as why right now, I have kind of wondered, and a lot of people I've spoken to have kind of wondered, as we neared the end of the LeBron era, if Rob might eventually step aside, if Jeannie might eventually step aside, and you would kind of see that clean break from there. Then you got the Luka trade, which threw a bit of a wrench into, what a lot of people thought of the plans. It turns out it seems like it didn't. Guggenheim have been pushing for this. They acquired Luka, and I think Guggenheim really, really wanted to get their hands on the Lakers.
Yeah, and you say Rob, you mean Rob Pelinka, the general manager who was Kobe Bryant's agent for all of those years, and now is the GM, obviously, of the team. Anthony Irwin with us from ClutchPoints, a senior Lakers insider. Anthony, we saw when Matt Ishbia took over from the Phoenix Suns, he took over like on a Monday, and on a Tuesday he traded for Kevin Durant. Like, it was that quickly that he made a huge franchise-altering decision. Do you think Mark Walter and the Guggenheim Group is going to try to make their stamp on this offseason to try to maximize the end of LeBron and the beginning of Luka together?
It's certainly a real possibility, I would say. I think first and foremost, he's going to invest in the infrastructure of the Lakers. The Lakers have been the most bare bones franchise in the NBA over the time that I have been covering them. A lot of people kind of around the league kind of wondered how they were running in the way that they were. But they're the Lakers, and they were always going to kind of find a way. Now you're going to see an investment in the scouting department, more investment into analytics, more investment into medicinal personnel. You're going to see a bigger training staff and all that stuff. And I think that'll be the first place that they'll start. That's kind of where they started with the Dodgers. As far as player personnel, yeah, before Austin Reeves was seen as a real organizational darling. I don't think Mark Walter has that same kind of affinity for Reeves or for Rui Hachimura. So, yeah, I think if there are moves to be made, they are more likely to be made than they were under Jeannie Buss when she was the primary owner.
But, Anthony, we're seeing this arms race, or at least talk about an arms race in the West. Do the Lakers have the capability of getting in on any really big names? Are we talking about sort of a medium to high level center, or are we talking about another star joining LA potentially?
I think everything is on the table at this point. You wouldn't, if you would have told me that they could get Luka last year, I probably would have told you, nope, probably not. But apparently they had enough assets for that. So they do have, Austin Reeves and his contract is seen as one of the more valuable trade assets around the league. You have a 2031 or 2032 pick that they can offer. They have the number 55 pick or whatever pick they buy in a second round this year, which becomes now more of a possibility. They have Rui Hachimura, who was seen as a solid role player who could probably fetch a couple of first rounders if they decided to bring a third team into any kind of negotiation. I think everything from acquiring the center, which was already probably going to happen, to going out and star hunting is now, you have to consider it a real possibility.
Anthony Irwin with us from ClutchPoints, senior Lakers insider, host of the Lakers Lounge, which is on Odyssey Sports. Last one for me, Anthony, and again, thanks for doing this. We're talking about winners and losers from this sale and who could end up being in a really good position and then maybe on shakier ground. Where does JJ Redick fall in that calculus? Is he a winner here, a loser, or we're not sure yet?
Well, I would go back to the fact that this has been a conversation between Jeannie Buss and Mark Walter for at least the last year or so, was when I started kind of hearing about it. So when they hired JJ Redick, there was a good chance that Mark Walter was okay with it. He was already a minority owner before, so he was in on those conversations in that capacity too. What I do think, I do think JJ Redick is a winner in this case, is that before, under Jeannie Buss and under the Buss family, they didn't like to pay for assistant coaches. That wasn't something that they really invested heavily into. Now I think there's a real possibility that Mark Walter is going to open up the bank account in the debit card to go out and get the best kind of assistant coaches that JJ Redick needed to be surrounded by in the first place. It was an okay coaching staff that he had last year. There were some names that you could kind of recognize there, but it wasn't the kind of staff that you needed to give a rookie head coach, not a rookie NBA head coach, but a rookie head coach. And I think now there's a better chance that he'll be surrounded by that kind of a group.
All right, Anthony, while we have you, I got to hear your opinion on LeBron's ring culture take. Do you agree with LeBron James that ring culture is just too much for the NBA? We're not fair when we're judging these players.
I grew up with, there's Kobe behind me. I grew up in rings culture. The Lakers fan base and the fanatics that we are really kind of instituted kind of established belief throughout court. Look, the point of sports is to win. That's what you play for. And I think does it suck that Charles Barkley gets remembered for being the best player ever to not win a championship? Sure, but he's done fine for himself, I would imagine. So I think the point is to win, and the players who win the most over the course of their careers should be celebrated for doing so.
Anthony Irwin, you can watch, listen, you can read ClutchPoints, senior Lakers insider, the host of Lakers Lounge on Odyssey. Thank you so much, Anthony, for doing this. Big news, as there always is in Lakerland. They don't do small news there, Perloff. It's only big, huge headlines. Thank you for your perspective today.
Thank you for having me. Anytime.
Appreciate that. Interesting. A couple things. One, to not be able to keep it in the family because there's not somebody who's there to take over for it. Like, you have to wonder,
I didn't totally understand that. So none of the buses have kids, or Jeannie doesn't have kids?
Well, Jeannie doesn't, but just like there's not someone who they're not grooming the next person. Like,
but they're not that old.
Like Dr. Jerry Bus. Well, Jeannie's in her 60s. That's not old. I'm not saying that's old, but I could understand if you want to retire.
I get that. But Jerry Jones is 83. I mean, half the owners of the NFL are in their 80s. The one that made me pause was Rui Hachimura could draw 2 first-round picks. Is there another player named Rui Hachimura? Is that right? I mean, you just had to trade basically half your franchise to get Desmond Bain, and someone's giving up. I don't know. That feels like, again, I didn't see Luka coming, but there's not Luka part 2 this summer. Giannis is not going to the Lakers, right? Right, Maggie?
I'm not saying anything. I didn't think Luka was going to the Lakers, and I thought that the Bus family was going to own this until, I don't know, we were much further down the line.
I had never thought of either of those things, but Giannis is actually on the market. Like, other people are making offers for Giannis. Luka was a different thing. I don't see the game changer coming. I don't see them as wildly relevant next year. Yeah.
Crazy. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. I'll disagree with you on that. I think they're going to be wildly relevant.
They just got swept with LeBron and Luka in the first round by the T-Wolves, and they're not getting better.
Yeah, but I think they're going to be a playoff team, and when you have LeBron and Luka together, you have a chance. And
they're
by the way,
play-in team in the West.
This could also be a farewell LeBron situation. You could have a LeBron James, farewell tour, which would also change the relevance.
So was that a sweep? It was a sweep, right? Or the Lakers T-Wolves, or was it 5? I mean, that is damning evidence.
It was 5.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why.
Luka just got there. They barely had any time to gel. Okay, got to take a quick break. Someone has called in to refute Perloff's wine take. You said it all tastes the same. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Got that. And also Lamar Jackson, what he had to say about revenge being on his mind. It's at Maggie and Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, the Mount Olympus of Cincinnati, Ohio, on the dock for you today. The four sports gods of Cincy: Johnny Bench for me, Anthony Munoz, Barry Larkin, our very own Boomer Esiason. Perloff?
I went with the Big O, Oscar Robertson, Anthony Munoz. Big O, Oscar Robertson, Anthony Munoz, Pete Rose, and Johnny Bench.
Meanwhile, Perloff taking a shot at the entire wine industry in the last segment. I don't want to put words in your mouth here, and I don't want to be associated with this take at all. You think it all tastes the same, or it's all BS?
No, I think 90% of people who pretend that they know what a good wine is are faking it and just making it up in their brain.
Oh, so your criticism is not with the wine makers, it's with the wine drinkers.
No, it's the people at fancy restaurants who swish it around and pretend they know what a good wine is and a bad wine. No, what do you mean the wine maker? Why would I? What issue would I have with the wine maker?
Well, I wasn't sure if you were saying it's all bunk. Austin is in Sacramento, wants to talk about this. What's up, Austin?
Hey, what's up? I really appreciated that interview earlier with Anthony. That last segment, that was really cool. But listen, having worked in the industry, I was a bartender for a long time when I was younger, and California got put on the map. There was a documentary, I'm blanking on the name, but it got put on the map because all wines were supposedly from France that were good, and they did some like blind taste test with these yuppie sommeliers from France, and in France, like, California won. So California, Napa, like, they started because of a blind test taste. And in the restaurants that I used to work at, they would have us blind test, and the sommelier couldn't tell the difference between the glass of wine that was $60 a glass or the $10 glass, you know? So it's really frustrating to me when my wife and I go out to eat and she looks at the highest priced wine. I'm like, baby, we don't need to spend $50 a glass or $150 on a bottle because you don't know the difference. But
you could be drinking Manischewitz out there. Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Trader Joe's, man. Like, I mean, I don't really drink either, but I mean, like, it used to be called, what is it, $5 Chuck?
Yeah.
You know, you can get so. Anyway, I love you guys' show. Have a great day.
Austin, thanks so much. You know, this is why people like a BYOB restaurant. Now, I worked in the restaurant industry.
Did you?
My mom owned a restaurant. My parents owned a restaurant, and the wine is a great place, to make money.
Oh,
so
heck yeah.
I wouldn't take it away from the restaurant owners, but it's great when you do a BYOB because you can get your, $15 bottle, and you just have to pay the corking fee.
Oh,
Not double and a half.
No, I know. We used to go. There was a BYOB restaurant in South Philadelphia that everybody went to. It was really great. I've seen that documentary, by the way. It's a great. I think that's maybe where I got this take that the French experts were total fakes. What we do or used to do as a family, we'd get not the cheapest bottle of wine, but the second cheapest bottle of wine because you don't want to openly say to the waiter, "Give me your cheapest bottle of wine," but you don't want to pay up because they all taste the same to you because most of us don't have educated palates.
Yeah.
So you get the second cheapest bottle of wine. Does anybody else do it that way?
Waiter, I will take your penultimate most expensive wine, please.
No, the least expensive. Yeah.
Yes, not the toilet water. I'll take the sink water, please.
Right, but you don't want to openly. You want the cheapest bottle there. It's like, oh, this is $38 already. Even the cheapest bottle can kill you.
Especially if you drink too much of it.
Well, this is why we're talking about Manny's going to the Finger Lakes, which has wineries there. And I said, if you're looking for a date or girlfriend or whatever Manny's looking for, winery, not a bad idea.
And what did you say about that, Pearl?
I think you need to find a dive bar, preferably after 1 a.m. if you want to find a date.
Yeah, because everybody knows that the bustling bar scene in the Ithaca region at 1 a.m.
Ithaca? Are you kidding me?
Well, school's out.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of bars.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Will I?
Actually, Ithaca's probably a lot nicer in the summer than the winter.
Well, no kidding.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think Ithaca's a party town year round, dude.
Anywho.
Don't go to the wine bar. This is not your type of... You need trashy women, man. Let's be honest with each other. We're all friends.
You don't think that there's easy women at the winery? You are out of your mind. I know because my friends go there.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry. I couldn't even get that out. Okay. Time for Lamar Jackson here?
That is a guy who does not need to go to a winery.
No, he's fine.
Yeah.
But you, Pearl, I know that something caught your ear with Lamar Jackson just quickly.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, he came out and said, hey, can you sign my former teammate Jair Alexander? And they did it. Mm-hmm. So the Ravens get I can't believe this bargain. $6 million? He's a top 10 cornerback. I know he's hurt all the time, but what is the risk there? So they get him. Their defense gets healthy next year. Their defensive coordinator gets another year under his belt. They should be the favorites. I think they should be the number one favorite. I'm not saying right now they're my Super Bowl pick as of June 19th, but I honestly look at them. I'm like, why? Everyone should be terrified. Then Lamar comes out yesterday and says, I'm out for vengeance. I love the vengeance team.
So him saying I'm out for vengeance, we don't know if he said this any other season. He could have also wanted vengeance after they lost in the AFC Championship game to the Chiefs.
But last year was the last 2 years were the year. Listen, our late friend Don Banks, great football writer for Sports Illustrated, used to make a Super Bowl pick. He'd call it the bounce back pick. He said the team that had the tough loss the year before will always come back. That's why I think last year Baltimore probably should have done it last year, but now it's a double bounce back. Can you buy that?
That's a lot of bounce back. What about my Bills? That doesn't. A lot of bad losses.
Bills, same formula. I just think the Ravens are more talented. Both have amazing quarterbacks, but I look at up and down the roster, the Ravens are stacked everywhere. So I'm into the Ravens.
We're going to do our Dark Horse Super Bowl picks tomorrow.
Ooh.
Excited about that. Want to thank Manny Rodriguez. Great job, Manny, stepping in for EJ. Thank you, Connor Armstrong, Andrew Bogusch, Andrew Kaplan.
You're in a 5-minute break.